Popping out the live chat. Live meow.
Oh.
I'm going to put it on live chat. Hello, everybody. My name's host Derek. I'm the huesto de taquiendo de famioso de Piplio place. And this is my beloved and gorgeous girlfriend, Rachel Lapalosa, who's hanging out with me here in the autonomy room. And this live stream is called Live Typing Sessions, Free Live Typing Sessions. If you want to get typed on a live stream, you can come in this room. There's room for 2 more in here. There's a room of 4 for 4 people. And I will type you. You need to have a camera and a mic. If you really want to come in and not be on camera but just be on mic, I can accept that. Hi, Bacon. This is not something I've done before. Something I'm doing for the first time, I think, as far as I can recall. And if anybody really wants to get typed by me and has been like, maybe I want to be typed, but I don't know, I don't have $100 or whatever, but I can't get in touch with you by email. I keep trying to email you, you don't respond.
Now's the time.
But yeah, that's Isaiah Rude. If you join, actually, you know what? Hold on for a second, Isaiah. There is room for 2 more. Come on in if you want. But I was thinking, you can switch out for Rachel at some point. I'll start with Rachel and then I'll switch you out, okay? Because I don't think we need a 3rd typer. I wouldn't mind another audience person if somebody wants to get typed and there's another person who wants to watch, fine. But I'll switch out Rachel. You'll come off the bench here, Isaiah, since I'm starting with Rachel, okay? And then as far as the 4th slot, well, if somebody just wants to watch, fine. Okay, so anyway, in the interim, let me tell you some predictions I have that I was thinking about unrelated to typology. For example, I am predicting that there's going to be no overrun of the hospital. That nobody's going to overrun our healthcare resources with this sickness. Now, I have heard today that there is 100,000 people undiagnosed people in Ohio, according to the Ohio governor. I am waiting to see this slew of sick people showing up at the hospitals. Has anybody encountered anything that's actually resembling like what would happen during an epidemic? I don't think so. Yet. Now, maybe. I could be proved wrong. All right, Chris, you want to get typed?
Hey?
Chris, you want to get typed?
Yeah, I want to get typed. What's up?
All right, cool. So let's ask you some questions.
Cool.
And also, if there's people in the chat who want to ask questions out there, Rachel, I could read them out loud. Hi, Aurelius. All right, Chris. So first question. If you were to be going to court and you were being charged with speeding, okay? And let's say that speeding is not a strict liability. In other words, strict liability says you don't have to have knowledge of the crime. So let's say that speeding is not strict liability. What are you going to argue in court?
So strict liability is that I... Can you define it again?
Okay. So let me start with this. Let me do it this way, a different way. You're going to court for speeding. You got a speeding ticket. You're trying to fight it. But you've discovered that it's not strict liability. That's the only fact you have. Now, ask me specific questions about that you need to know to figure out how you're going to fight this.
Okay. Do I need to, can I argue that there's not an intent to cause harm, and therefore, does that get me anywhere?
Well, on the liability point, I guess you would say whether or not it's strict liability has nothing to do with whether or not there was an intent to cause harm exactly, um,
Okay.
because that's no, it wouldn't really get you anywhere. What you can also what other questions what would you need to know about strict liability in order to understand how to argue this?
Um, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I feel
I
like
feel
I
like I
kind of
kind
feel
of
at a
feel at a
loss
loss
going
going
about
about
that.
that.
Okay, so
Um,
if you were asked to, if somebody said to you, "Hey, look, I'm being accused of a crime I didn't commit. I have been accused of stealing somebody's favorite lamp from their house, and I have a lamp just like it, but it's not theirs. I didn't steal it. Um, what's the first step you take in building a defense for them?" And yes, I'll deal with the echo right now.
sure.
Sure.
Should I
Should
get
I get
headphones? Would
headphones?
that
Would that
help?
help?
No, it's me. I need headphones. Nobody else does.
Okay.
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 If
If
I
I
the
the
first the way
the
I would
way I
build
would
that
build that
case
case
is
is
I
I
would
would
um
um
probably
probably
well okay one I
one
might
I might
ask
ask
for
for
proof of
proof of
ownership
ownership
of the
of the
lamp
lamp
of my
of my
defendant
defendant
for
for
the
the
eventual
eventual
place.
place.
I
I
might
might
try to
try to
find
find
defining
defining
characteristics or
characteristics or
features
features
of
of
either
either
the
the
lamp of the
lamp of the
person
person
accusing the
accusing the
crime
crime
or
or
my
my
person,
person,
see if
see
there's
if
any
there's any
differences that
differences
could
that could
be
be
proven,
proven,
like
like
physically.
physically.
I
I
um, or
There's no proof of ownership that they even own the lamp. If you were going to argue that to repeat this because I was messing with the audio here. I'm fixing it right now. To repeat what I was saying, if you were going to make the argument that because the person doesn't have proof of ownership that your client should be not guilty, how would you make that argument?
say that
say
one
that
more
one
time
more
for
time
me.
for me.
If if that was your point, that the person who's accusing your client of stealing the lamp did not have proof of ownership of any lamp in particular, then how would you make the case that that means your client's not guilty?
Okay, off the top of my head, I don't know how to apply that either way to the case that my client is not guilty. Unless, okay, if they don't have proof of ownership of the lamp at any point, that I guess indicates that there could be, some act of like willful deception on their part. Um, that the that maybe they never owned the lamp in the first place. That doesn't seem to me to be like a particularly strong line of argumentation.
I think
Um,
I suspect you'd say, well, they haven't met their prima facie burden to establish that a crime's even been committed because they say there's a lamp been stolen, but they haven't even proved that they once owned this lamp.
sure.
Sure.
That would be the argument, I guess. Okay, so let me ask you some different kinds of questions. How much sleep do you need a night?
I
I
usually need a good amount of sleep to feel well rested. I'm going to say like between 9 hours. I could sleep as much as 11 hours and then like have it like be enough. Um, I have how much sleep do I need a night is a different kind of question, I guess, because I could, go by with an hour of sleep or a few hours of like 3 hours of sleep. But then like I generally like I can feel it like my legs get sore the next day or I'm just like not on top of my game in terms of like cognitive ability. So I'll
so
say
I'll say
like
Okay,
like
let me ask you this:
okay.
uh, if you don't get enough sleep during the night, do you tend to take a nap during the day if possible?
No, I
no, I
don't.
don't.
Actually,
Actually,
yeah,
yeah,
no, if
no,
possible, yeah, I will take a nap in the middle of the day, for like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
I'll
I'll
find
find
time.
time.
Um, would you say you're somebody who gets tired easily?
Mm, do I get tired easily? Are you talking about like if I don't go to bed and I stay up for too long? That
No,
kind
I
of
mean,
tired, or like
let's say
hurting my
you're out in the world in the day, and you've encountered a bunch of people. You've had a bunch of interactions with people in various classes or in places in the world, parks or coffee shops or
Sure.
whatever. And
Yeah.
it's later in the afternoon. Are you fairly exhausted by that at that point, or are you ready
For
to go
sure.
forward?
I definitely get exhausted by going out and any kind of shit that requires my attention and willful execution of stuff and things is gonna get me pretty exhausted. Probably like around the same time of day, like 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm ready to go home.
Rachel, you got any questions?
Not at the moment.
Okay. So if you are at a coffee shop and you're in line, and this guy who's you're at the coffee shop, you're in line. There's like four people in front of you in line. You're last in line. Okay, you're last in line, and a guy with in a suit, and he's looking at his phone. He comes in and he just steps into the line right in front of you without really saying anything, or just as though casual as possible, because you left a little gap between you and the person in front of you in line. And he's looking at his phone and mumbling sort of to himself or whatever. And so now, what do you do?
I do nothing. I let him take it and I ignore it.
Okay. Now, okay, so fine. So now the person at the front of the line gets their food, and you move up a spot. Now you're fourth in line again, and another guy comes, and does exactly the same thing. Gets in front of you in line because once again you've not learned. You've left a gap between you and the person in front of you. What do you do this time?
It's a different guy this time.
Yeah, different person. Same thing happens.
I let it pass again. I don't say anything.
Okay, now, not surprisingly, the same thing happens again. The third time, you're still fourth in line now. So this time it's a lady, and she's an old lady, and she actually looks at you and says, "Pardon me, young man," and sort of pushes you out of the way a little bit and gets in front of you in line.
Then I leave the coffee shop and I don't get anything, and I go home because I'm probably late.
I see.
Or
What does somebody
it's just to be coffee.
what does somebody have to do to piss you off enough to be like, hey, buddy?
What is something that would happen that would piss me off enough?
Yeah.
I can't. When that does happen, it's usually something that I'm not predicting to. It's something that I can't think of any examples. I guess if I don't know, I can't really think of anything. Like even if someone was like abusing a child in public, um, I typically either am going to defer to someone else to stand up and do something about that if possible, or I'm just going to let it go. And there's like so much evil that happens in the world that I justify taking any action.
Yeah, that's fine. People like me appreciate having a role to fill.
People appreciate it.
So people like me appreciate having a role to fill. Because it's like before other people were thinking like, am I going to go do something about this or say something? I'm already there screaming at them,
Yeah.
Someone's got to.
Someone's got to, right? Anyway, okay, so let me ask you this: your friend Bob and his girlfriend Susie, they're having problems, and Susie's upset because Bob's not really moving along on the career arc that she wants him to. And Bob's upset because Susie seems to always be nagging her. And they come to you and say, "Listen, Chris, we need your help. We need you to be our relationship counselor and solve our relationship problems for us. And we're going to pay you in candy. I've got a lot of candy at home, and we're going to give you your whole. You get to pick 5 from this bag of candy every time you give us therapy. Do you take the job?
I pick five pieces of candy.
Yeah, but there's like big bars. It's like a big ass, like king size Baby Ruths. It's not just all shitty little pieces of candy.
I do it, and I take the candy, but because I don't really want the candy in the first place, I just take it home and put it in a drawer, and I don't eat it.
But do you give them the therapy?
Yeah, I give them the therapy.
Okay, and so what do you tell them? It turns out that what's happening here is that Susie is always trying to work on the relationship. There's always something that's a problem. And Bob, he's just trying to relax and watch the basketball game, you know? And he's had a long day at work, and she's always saying, well, you can take extra classes so you can get a raise at work. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, woman, why are you so ambitious? You know, she's got a good job and everything, but she's got SI polar, so she just thinks that everybody should be constantly working all the time. And Bob's just not having it. So what do you tell him?
I probably tell them what they already know, and I'm probably kind of uncomfortable doing it because I feel like it's not my place, and that the thing that I'm telling them is that both of them are essentially in one way or another. I phrase it: you're both expecting things from the other person that you would expect from yourself, and you're doing that erroneously. And uh, probably the practical advice I end up giving them is either to accept the the problems in their relationship as they exist already, and just resign, both parties resign themselves to that, or exit the relationship, because I don't because probably unless I can really like make them see that they're not making enough room for each other's ontology, then
Fuck it.
uh,
The
what?
answer is then fuck it. You know, that's the answer to
Yeah.
that. Okay, let me ask you a question. How are you with relationshipy things? If you start in with a new relationship, be it let's say it's romantic, but you could also potentially do this for just a secular, not secular, platonic relationship. The
Okay, we're
so
good.
anyway, as these new relationships starts, are you somebody who's slow to get close, or do you close the distance quickly or slowly? And once the distance has been closed, is it something that's going to be persistent or haphazard thereafter?
Right. I don't know if this helps. I actually did just like 2 weeks ago enter into one relationship after another like very long term relationship. Uh, like a 10-year relationship, and that now I'm in something else. So I can give you like some accurate information. Um, uh, Usually, I think I would have the tendency to persist pretty slowly. Um, it hasn't been the case thus far in this relationship that I find myself in, where it kind of like what you said, it has moved like very quickly into. Well, can I get a better sense of what you're talking about? Like, what do you mean by moving quickly?
Okay, well
Do you mean
let's talk about a platonic relationship instead of a romantic one for a second.
fine,
So
cool,
you
okay,
meet somebody who seems interesting to you. Do
okay.
you close the distance quickly, which is to say, open up right away and be warm and engaging and share of yourself and appreciate the other sharing of themselves, or are you, you know, fairly guarded at first and only gradually reveal of yourself to the other person?
Right. I tend to open up really quickly. I don't expect that of others. I usually just make as much room as possible for the other person to, um, engage at whatever level that they feel comfortable or find meaningful. I, but I'm usually not very aware of it. Also, whether I'm opening up like a lot at once, or if I'm, that's not really something I tend to be able to take into consideration. I think a lot of the time I probably open up more quickly than I realize I am.
Okay, there shouldn't be. I want to talk about this echo thing. Go ahead, Isaiah. I'm going to have you ask some questions. Rachel, do you have any questions at the moment?
Yeah,
Right.
actually, I wanted to know, are you easy, like, is it easy for you to identify your feelings? So, like, I went to this place where every day they asked me how I felt. Would you be able to come up with a word?
Uh, I think I would be able to. I don't think I'd be able to come up with a word because I could imagine someone asking me that, and then I could give them like, I kind of like go part way into one answer, and then I sort of have too many things to say that aren't really conducive to um, being very clear or being very focused. And usually, what I rely on happening is that I can just talk for long enough that eventually someone will pick up the general vibe that I'm trying to that I'm like inhabiting. And then usually when I talk for like when I ramble for long enough, the person I'm talking to will just say, "Oh, you're feeling maligned," or "Oh, you're like," and they'll put it into they'll put it into like really simple terms. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that was a way easier way of being able to say what I just said."
Isaiah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got any questions, Isaiah?
Yeah. So do you do anything like creative? Do you have any creative hobbies or anything like that? Are you into art, making art of any kind?
Yeah. I have I mean, I could probably show you around this room a little bit, but I play a lot of instruments. I record. I go to school. I'm a composition major. I write music. Um, I have I do a little bit of painting. Um, I I do some. I'm just generally interested uh, in contemporary performance practice. Um, I think a lot about being creative more than I actually engage in it. Um, yeah, I
Okay,
play.
so look, I think probably most of us are in one of two spots. You know, we're going like, you're probably ENTP or ENFP. So, question is ENTP or ENFP? Or possibly, you know, if you wanted to stretch it, maybe INTP or INFP. Because you're getting some introvert style answers, but by and large, I hear mostly extroversion from you. So, let's do some TI questions.
Okay.
Who is my mother's husband's only daughter's only brother's father?
My father.
Okay, who is my father's wife's husband's only son's wife's only daughter's only brother's father?
My father.
Okay, you're almost certainly an ENTP.
Okay.
Uh, I would guess. That's my guess. Now it's been tossed out here possibly INFJ, which is not impossible because INFJ is going to have good third slot TI. You've got slightly beta quadrillion looking eyes, and you've got good social grace in general. Anybody want to? So let's do a little more TI testing, perhaps.
Yeah. Can I try something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
For a second I was definitely thinking he was an INFJ. Though I'm not entirely sure. Here's the thing: is that I think that INFJs generally have a wide sort of range on how they do on genealogy questions, so he might do us well to ask a little bit more.
Yeah,
All
with
right.
the TI question.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
Okay, well, how about this? If all fish swim in the ocean, and all things that swim in the ocean enjoy climbing trees, and all things that enjoy climbing trees are squirrels, and some squirrels search for acorns, then is it the case that some fish search for acorns?
I think it's not necessarily the case, and I forget why.
In this case, I think it is the case.
I think because I think because you said, I think it's because you said all fish in the ocean. No, I forget. I can't remember what you said.
All right, it was too long. All right, let's try a different one. Here's a basic problem. Here's a good problem. Here's a good one. So it's a simple one. All right.
I mean,
it's a TI
Okay, go
question.
ahead.
It has to be yes or no.
All right, here's a simple one.
I think it is.
Okay, well the answer is no, not necessarily. I don't remember.
I think the answer is yes necessarily. Horse Mumbler agrees with you though, so you're probably right,
okay.
Chris. Okay. So anyway, I think no, you're right. I think Chris and Horse Mumbler are right. But not necessarily. Anyway, I pulled an Isaiah. Route there. I didn't know my own question. Anyway, I'm gonna know this one though. This one's straightforward. If apples cause cancer, and Joe has cancer, can we conclude that Joe has eaten apples?
No, because you haven't established that other things besides apples don't cause cancer.
Okay, he's got to be an EHP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seems a little bit higher up than
Including the not being sure because it was too long for that other problem. That's also EHP, not INTP.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah. So your type.
It's like when you typed me as an INTP, I did the same thing on the genealogy, and that's what made you think I was an INTP, is like having those like out like that. Yeah. And he seems like a more passive, not as, I don't know, aggressive with that third slot FE sort of variety of ENTP.
9. He's a 9. He's a 9. Chris is a 9. Chris, I'm going to ask you now to bid us adieu. Thank you for being here so I can get another person in here and we can continue typing people.
Cool.
See you later. Have a good day. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Did I test for any? No. Look, this is going to be a quick test. I'm not going to spend a whole hour on somebody. We want to move other people in here. Maybe somebody else want to get tested, typed, or whatever. And while we're waiting for somebody else, she prefers double penetration, Sarah. That's the name she prefers to be called, rather than just DP. If you're going to call her DP, just go ahead and call her double penetration.
Yeah. Go full.
Dub
What?
pin.
That is like double stuff is another one too. So if you want to add food into the mix.
Double stuffed Oreo.
Yeah.
You'll ho?
That one. I learned that one way too early. It scared me a lot.
Unfortunately, Eric's wrong on my INFP. I doubt it. It's possible. I don't know.
INFP?
Short typing. Could get it wrong. Hi, Anchor Jason Blood.
Wait, I don't know what happened to the...
No. Look, this is going to be a quick test. I'm not going to spend a whole hour on somebody. Yeah, okay, cool. You got the background, the radio. It's like on the radio calling. Please turn down your radio in the background. Okay, Anchor Jason Blood. So, according to Chris Chapman, I got him wrong. He's actually an INFP. If you only spend a little bit of time, you see how you do. I didn't really get a chance to go for the FI. Chris Chapman said he's actually an INFP, and I got it wrong. Possibly.
Oh.
Maybe.
I was thinking that was my first guess.
That was my first guess, too, was INFP. But
I'm not sure that was 8. You talking about Chris, the guy we just typed?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was 8 slot TI, though.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think... Yeah, listen. It's going to echo unless I work this button here, okay? Okay, well, you probably also have learned about how I do the typing things. Your SI is good. Those are like the genealogy or SI heavy questions. I don't know. It seems like your SI was good, and then you got the second one right. Well, who cares? It doesn't matter. The point is, that's what happens when you don't spend all the time you need to type somebody. Is sometimes you may get it wrong. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm not convinced Chris Chapman's INFP, but he might be. So, okay. Anchor Jason Blood.
Hi. Yes.
Let's start you off with some basic SI questions. Can you tell me about a series of things that you did today prior to now? For example, I might say, first I got up this morning at 10 o'clock or whatever. I woke up, I smoked a cigarette, I made some coffee, I came back over here, I started live streaming, and then after a certain period of time, I started getting thirsty, I got this water here. Like basic steps like that. Can you walk through your morning like that?
So it's 8 o'clock here. I got up at 4 o'clock because I hadn't slept for almost 20 hours the day before. And I got up, I was really hungry, but I didn't want to cook, because I was lazy as hell. So I made myself a smoothie, and I thought, like, okay, by the time I consume smoothie, I probably have enough incentive to go and cook. But then I started watching your video, and I realized I was reminded that I need to give you a rebuttal on the coronavirus thing. So I spent almost like half an hour doing some research, came up with a long ass answer and wrote down and commented on your, one of your videos. And now I'm here talking to you, drinking smoothie.
Okay, cool. So right off the bat, I just want to say as we sort of like walk the audience through this process as well. My initial, just jumping right out of the bat, is Alpha Quadra, because of the way he talks about his morning or whatever. But in particular, what makes me think Alpha Quadra is the way he sort of backtracked at a certain point and explained something else or something. But it could be Beta Quadra. I would put it definitely FETI and not FETIS. I mean, it seems like SI, but it could be NI potentially in a strong spot like first or something. So, okay, so let me ask you about sleeping, eating, drinking, and stuff. Do you get a regular amount of sleep every night?
No, I am very erratic with sleep. My sleep pattern is very erratic. So some days I really have hard time, falling asleep, and most of the time I go to work without sleeping, and then I finish my work off early and then come back and take sleep. And sometimes I mean, there've been times where I haven't slept for, I don't know, more than 20 hours and all that. So it's very erratic. And so, but I do need to sleep a lot. So usually I kind of, I work at night and try to sleep during the day. Yeah. But I need to
Okay.
sleep a lot. Like if I have to function properly, I need to sleep a lot. But my sleeping pattern is very erratic. Yeah, it's been since like I was a teenager, and I haven't been able to improve it.
Do you nap?
The nap, the what do you mean? Sorry, I couldn't catch you.
I mean, do you take naps? Do you take short naps, like you'll catch 15 minutes of sleep?
No, no, I don't do that. I don't do that. I can't do that.
Okay. So what keeps you up at night when you're tossing and turning and can't sleep?
Uh, Nothing specific, but it's most of the time I'm either reading about some, like most of the time I'm thinking about business ideas. So I'm always thinking, oh, maybe I have some idea. I need to research about it. I need to like maybe I'm trying to take it to a logical conclusion, or I get bored and then I'm just like maybe watching a documentary or try to read some random article about some you know some businessman or some philanthropist or some random article about something. It's always random. It's nothing specific.
All right. So let's
But
say
I'm
your
always
employer.
reading something or
Let's say
yeah,
your
sorry, go ahead.
employer offers an incentive plan for people who do this extra good kind of work. Then they will get a bonus of 1,000 yen or something. I don't know how much money that is. It's like $10 or whatever. But let's say
That's like
there's like some sort of bonus plan. Okay. Now, how much are you
Mhm.
motivated by that to change how you work, or does it motivate you at all?
No, it doesn't, like, it has to be. It actually is very circumstantial, like not circumstantial, it depends upon the conditions. So for $10 I'm not going to work any harder than I work for no bonus at all, $0. It has to be a significant amount of money for me to get motivated to work harder.
Okay, so let's say it were something that you like. Let's say it's something you're already. I'm not sure what you do, but let's say you were trying to get a client to book a to book a contract
Meeting.
with your
Okay.
business or something like that. Okay,
Mhm.
and they say, listen, this is a really important client, so there's an extra bonus in this for getting this one handled if you can get this person booked.
I'll work hard. I will break the sort of the red tape and do whatever is possible to get the client. It will sort of become like a challenge to myself, and also because there is a lot of an incentive involved.
Okay, but now look, let's say there's no incentive, but the boss comes to you and says, this is a really important client and we really need you to get this client. Would you work less hard than if there's an incentive?
Uh, it may kind of depend. Like if I'm not working in a place that pays very handsomely, very lucratively, probably I will not be motivated. And if I don't, but I there is one scenario where I could work if I take it as a challenge. you know if I take it as a challenge to myself, then I might work. But if it's something that it's it is expected of me to do, regardless of how I look at it, or regardless of the bonus that's incentives that are given, probably I will not be motivated.
And how would you respond to a program where you get like demerits or like red marks on your record if you're late or whatever?
I will get furious. I'll get really furious. I'll start debating. I'll like tell this is like, why would you do that? This is ridiculous. You're just not seeing the hard work that I have to do to get the job done.
Anchor,
And,
please.
you know,
Anchor,
my-
please
my-
calm
my-
down. Please lower your voice. Please calm down. Okay, please listen. We need to have an orderly system here where everybody's on time. If I don't do it for you, I can't do it for anybody else. I need to put the same rules everywhere. You understand? We got to have these rules here.
I don't care. I don't care about that, because I have, like, I'm doing my job. I mean, and I'm showing results, and as long as I'm doing that,
Your job
I
is to
shouldn't
be here from
forced
9 to 9.
follow the rules.
That's your job, to be here from 9 to 9, not 9:05.
I don't care. Like, I'm gonna leave the job. I'm gonna leave the job. If you value me as an employee for your firm, then you better be ready to give me conditions where I could work, at my best. I mean, I would probably go along something like this. I'll try to, like, I'll not agree with them. I'll, like, hey, but you see, I'll try to sort of give them reasons why what I do is good,
Okay,
and then try to
I have
convince
a
them.
question. Why do
you know.
you think what you do is good?
Because the results, first of all, like, and also, like, I feel like a lot of people, they try to follow the system. They like to, like, A to B to C, but I don't. I don't do that, and I just follow my own, like, I would say, intuition, and my own sort of logical thinking, and I'm able to get results much faster than people who are more experienced than me, and I have done that in the past,
Okay.
and sort of that kind of adds to my confidence. Yeah.
Anchor, you're a
and it
loose
kind of
cannon.
reflects
You're a
into,
loose cannon
the
around
place I'm
here, is
working.
what you are. All loose cannon, okay? We don't need any loose cannons. Loose cannons sink ships. We all need to follow the protocols, okay? That includes you. Come on now, be a team player.
I mean, if you if you lose cannons, then if you have enemy attacking you, probably your ship is gonna sink anyway. So you better have me. And if you don't want me, I'll join the enemy ship and come right back at you. So you will shake. You will
Okay,
sink
this
down.
has got to be ENTP.
Okay, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure
I
yet.
think-
Are you sure you're not sure?
I'm
I
sure
don't
I'm not
think
sure.
ENTP.
What do you say, Rachel?
I think ENTJ.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think
I-
I don't think
That's
ENTJ.
I am. Well, I personally think I'm an ENTP because
Oh, I don't fucking. I mean, I don't know why. I just like.
I was
I'm not
thinking.
ENTP though.
To be fair, he could be ENFP. I mean, I don't really know. And that's just kind of my gut right now. I don't, but
I am an E ignoring, so.
okay.
Let me ask you a question, Anchor.
But here's the thing that I'm caught on is like the money thing. Like, I don't really associate ENFPs with money except when they make like big, I guess, scheming. So yeah, maybe. Yeah, he could be an ENTP. That is, scheming is a
So
part
for-
of ENTPs.
for money, I don't actually care about the order. Like in my last company, people were they were really cared about who's the boss. For me, as long as I get enough money to do stuff that I want to do in life, it's fine. And I don't care about being the boss as long as my salary is high enough
See,
for me to
see, I get caught up on the money thing.
All right, let me ask this question. Define introverted intuition for me.
So I only have like the textbook knowledge, which is like what people have. What's written is that you can. It's like a sniper. Like you can, after absorbing information for a very long time, you can accurately predict the future, which is something that I read from the books, but I don't do that. Like I'm quick. I'm very quick. Like I really jump quite fast, from topic to topic. So
Actually, I just thought of something. I don't really remember the question very well, so I don't know. I've heard you ask this question before. Could you ask them the rooster or the hen question? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
A
We're on the same
variation
page
of
there.
that.
Do you know that question, Anchor?
which one?
I'll ask it. So there's a chicken in England, and the chicken is has one of its ovaries damaged, and it's in a flock of hens, and it gradually, after its ovary damage, turns into a rooster. And what that means is it grows feathers like a rooster has. It starts cock-a-doodle-doodling like a rooster does. It defends the chickens from the hawks. It goes rah, 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 when the hawks are flying overhead, and it tells the chickens to go hide, and they go hide. The chickens listen to it as though it were a rooster, and across the board, it does all the rooster behaviors of the rooster in a flock. Now, my question to you is it a chicken or a rooster?
I would still say that it's a chicken because there is a clear gender definition. Like you gotta have more metric to decide, like maybe a DNA test or something like that. Just because there is uh, some sort of damage to a certain part of the body of the chicken, and that results in him to behave like a rooster, does not mean that he has genetically or become a rooster. So there is clear definition of that, and there has to be multiple standards by which you need to judge it. So this happens a lot of times in women, like who for some reason they have higher levels of testosterone, and they must start exhibiting behaviors that are usually associated with men. That doesn't mean that those women are not women anymore. There are more criteria, many more yardsticks by which you measure this kind of stuff, I would say.
Word up. I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking he might be an INFJ. That's what I was thinking. Or he might be an ISFJ.
No way.
But
no
no.
way.
But no. I agree. Look, when I asked the question, define NI, I always remember Rachel's answer when I said to Rachel one time, Rachel, define NI. And she said, internal knowing.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all she said. When I said to Anchor Jason Blood, define NI, he's like, let me begin a treatise. I shall begin my treatise at birth when I first discovered that NI existed. But
I said like that was the bookish definition, as in what I've read from the material that's available on the internet. Like NE is like a shotgun and NI is like a sniper. So that's the analogy, But I don't know because I never have these oh my God, like Trump is gonna be the president. No, I don't have that.
That's me. That is me.
all right. So look, the thing is, I think that the NI definition example is very telling about the difference between NI Dom and somebody who's definitely not an NI Dom, which is when I asked Rachel that question, she did not know at all why I was asking the question. I'm quite confident of it. She didn't get that I was asking to see what an NI answer to that question would sound like, or if she would give me an NE answer to that question. So when she answered it, she answered it without understanding what I was asking it for exactly, except she was giving me the best answer she had available to her, and the answer she thought was the truest, which was internal knowing, which is, of course, the one reason we know it's an NI answer, it doesn't require a whole bunch of, okay, before I answer, let me do a bunch of these preconditions things so that I set the table properly for the beginning of my answer, which is really just the first chapter in a long series of answers, which eventually will sort of answer the question.
Which is any.
Yeah, that's any.
Also, if we were between INFJ and ENTP, I'll add that I think his FE looks a lot more like third slot than it does second slot, because it's like he's more. I don't want to say like looking for some sort of reaction in us, or I don't know. I can't. I don't know. It's like he's obviously feeding off of the FE a bit more than an INFJ would, I guess. Whereas an INFJ is kind of just,
So I want to go back to the topic of the previous guy being INFP. I'm gonna agree with you guys. This guy's an ENTP too, and a couple of comments that I got here on this thing on the chat. So there's the comment. Everyone's an ENTP. Well, the fact is, who's most likely to want to come be typed on the fly, like in a moment's notice? If you feel like getting typed, come be live right now on the internet and get typed right now. Who's most likely to be down for that? ENTP or ENFP maybe.
ENFP. Yep.
Yeah. Now I haven't asked him any TI questions. I don't need to. His articulation of the various metrics thing and how you need different metrics, it couldn't be any more TI. His articulation of the whole rooster chicken question couldn't be more TI. It's just as good and convincing as asking him TI questions, as far as I'm concerned.
We were looking for that like taking a position type of thing that you would see in the TI tool, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the hypothesis that's been borne out so far, which is if you ask an ENTP or an ESTP that question, they will give you a definitive answer. If you ask an INTP that question, they will say, well, it maybe depends what metric you use. In your definitive answer, you had the meta argument that here's my definitive answer, and here's why we don't do what the INTPs do, which I loved. That's called ENTP outsmarting.
If for the rooster question, I might change my answer at a later stage. If I'm walking down the street, I'm like, home, but you could also look at it this way, and that would be it happens with me quite often. Like I give an answer, I have an argument with somebody, I say this is it, no, you're wrong, and then I'm just sipping coffee. I'm like, oh my god, the dude was right. Maybe I need. And then I'm like, I go back and I research and talk to the guy. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, maybe you're not.
Yeah, but
wrong,
that's an ENTP gift. At least you guys apologize.
Yeah, we admit when we're wrong. Well, some of us do. If we're broken, I think all non-broken people do that. I really do think all non-broken people are able to admit when they're wrong and apologize at least somewhat, and understand the necessity of doing so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I do associate ENTPs with apologizing when they're wrong. I
also feel sad sometimes. Like apologize too much. I feel really bad when I'm really nice to somebody, and they are they're whatever. They're just completely, they don't care, and I'm like, dude, I should have ripped that guy. Why was I nice with him? I should stop being nice with people. That's not my nature and stuff like that.
I feel like the phrase "be nice" is an ENTP thing too. It's a reminder. I don't know. My friend has signed in the room to be nice, to remind her to be nice to people. So
it's like a scale. Sometimes you're too nice, and then I'm like, no. You are independent. You're an independent individual with an identity and all that. You should not care about what the crowd is thinking. And so it's sort of oscillating between these two positions. And I kind of relate that with my third slot FE.
Yeah. I think we definitely typed him right.
Quick question. Are you I don't know a better way to put this. Are you a crybaby? Do you easily break down and start crying when you feel an overwhelming all of a sudden?
I haven't cried since it's been I think the last time I cried was probably when I was 11 or 10 for 3 seconds when my puppy died. So
what's up?
Sorry, what?
You're blowing it. You're totally blowing it. You gotta get in tune with your dampness. You gotta seep some moisture on some shit, dog. That's how you get in touch with your inner ladyhood. You gotta find your inner woman and embrace her with tender kisses.
I kind of thinking about this thing, for last week, that I don't know, like, okay, I'm trying to sort like when I meet somebody, I can't, I don't know. It's sort of, I'm always thinking logically, and like whether I should go with this person or not, it's whether it's like a scientific sort of, compatibility or not. And this FI thing, I just, it's like I need to go and talk to my ENFP friend, and then they tell me this sort of, oh, you should, they explain to me, and then I sort of take that in and like, oh, and also process it logically. So I don't know if I can do that, like Eric. Like I really want to do that. Like I think people who have FI,
I'm gonna make it easy for you. I got an easy solution.
It could be.
I got an easy solution that was given to me by an ESTP, so it has legitimacy on that grounds too. Which is that if you can't tell if you like them, at least make sure you think they're hot. Basically, is the gist of the advice. Because we're likely to undervalue that, and it's important.
Because that's nice and binary too.
Right. Make sure you want to hump them.
Yeah.
You really want to, not you're settling. Make sure you're going to be eating fancy feast, not dry food, for the long term.
Uh,
Got it. Hey, I gotta go actually.
Yeah.
So, thank you
Cool.
for
All
typing.
right. Perfect
I gotta
timing.
go.
We're bringing somebody
Maybe
else.
I-
Thank you.
you guys-
Good job, Anchor Jason. But
Take
we'll
care.
argue about the
Bye.
virus later, okay? Bye.
Bye.
bye. Cool.
So we are taking participants here in this whereby room. That was fun.
This is fun. The marathon.
Yeah, he does need help making FI decisions. That is very NP of him. But Taylor's advice is a good one, Make sure you're attracted to the person.
Yeah.
Bye.
Isn't that the-
Hello, Wolf Rose.
Oh my god.
Yo.
Hello.
Your audio is a nightmare. It's a living, breathing nightmare. It's causing me to vomit blood. That's the sound it is. See, everybody. Alright, Quest. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So Quest is working on his audio a little bit. He may have to depart and return. I'm not sure. If that's the case, first come, first serve. If he loses his place in line,
Oh, is he frozen?
No, he's not frozen. I'm not sure. I think he's just messing with his audio.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering if it's an internet problem or if it's like.
All right,
the audio
Quest.
thing.
How'd you go? You got to try again when you got audio fixed. There.
He'll come back.
Yeah, somebody else takes place. Whatever.
Yeah. Someone will.
I don't mean to be callous or anything, but you've been waiting
Well,
all day.
I mean,
Was that you, Andy? Well, fix your fucking audio. It sounds like a blizzard. Sounds like you're broadcasting in the middle of a blizzard. Hi, Celine.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
indeed.
Good.
I was waiting.
All right.
Now, I know I'm supposed to use my camera, but I have a hair situation, so can that be excused?
You have a hair situation?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I think it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you.
Eric doesn't.
It's fine. It's fine. I said at the beginning of this, you can do
did
just
say
audio.
that.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah. She's cashing in on something I already said, so it's fine.
I did.
Okay. Celine, let's start you with some question like this. So, you've been you've been walking down the street, and a police officer says, "Come here, we need your help," and you follow him, and he says, "We need you to figure out how to get all of these people off of the roof onto this other roof over here. And these are the things we have. And he shows you like a ladder, and he's got a forklift, and he's got a bag of rocks, and like 6 balloons and a helium thing. So, are you a good person? What do you do?
We're moving them from that one roof to the one right across or something.
Correct.
And then okay. So they don't have any like blow up bed. Can't they just jump off? Oh, a ladder. Okay, so they're gonna go down the ladder.
Building's on fire. No can do.
No, why?
Building's on fire.
Oh, they can't. What? Okay, so a forklift. Let's just move the thing closer to the building. They jump onto the forklift. They can do that, right? Anyway, we move that over to the other building, and there you go. It's fine.
Okay. How many synonyms can you think of for the word tepid?
Tepid. I don't even know how I would like. I have a feeling for tepid, but tepid.
What does tepid smell like?
It doesn't smell. Does it smell like something?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm asking what the word tepid smells like.
It doesn't smell like anything. It has a kind of flavor to it. It's like bland. It's like ugh. It's like a wet towel.
It's like a wet towel. Okay, cool.
And
if,
like a very annoying person. No, a boring person. That's
How many-
like really uptight.
Yeah. Go ahead.
how many words can you think of that rhyme with tepid?
None. I can't think of any.
Can anybody think of any words that rhyme with tepid?
I mean, if you allow like slant rhymes, I could probably think of a few, like arrested and like.
Tepid and arrested, really?
I mean, that, like I said, it's a slant rhyme. It's not.
Close.
It's not like but I mean.
I don't think tepid does.
It's a tough one, huh? Okay.
If you like can use 2 words, then you
right.
probably think of a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were asked to judge a contest, you're going to judge either a music contest, a writing contest, as a poetry contest, or a painting contest, and you have to pick the winner. Which contest do you want to judge?
I'm definitely gonna judge the poetry contest.
Okay, do you feel as though you'll have a clear understanding of which poem is best, or just which poem you like best, or both?
Well, I will have a very good understanding of, first of all the horrible ones, and then the ones that I like. That's what I think I'm going to be good at.
What makes a poem horrible?
Oh my God. A poem is horrible when I feel like the person I guess they're trying to be deep, but they're not doing it in any real artistic way. It's extremely lazy. So like most of the poems that you'll find in the poetry section of bookstores right now, they're very horrible. You could literally write them. A kid could write them, because all it's like, without you, there is no life. And that's the poem. That's the whole page. That is the art. That's a horrible poem. You can tell that there's no actual art form in it. Nothing. It's just whatever comes out of them, they think is art.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna give you a little couplet of like a 2 lines of a poem, and I want you to try and complete the rest of that poem, the next 2 lines.
No,
Um.
no, I don't want to.
Okay.
Why not? Wait, hold on. Before you even do this. So why is it that you don't want to do that?
Because I don't like to write anything on the spot. I think I take that kind of seriously, and I'm very shy about it, so I don't want to.
Okay. Then let's play a different game.
A story, but not a poem. Yeah, go ahead.
How about a different game, which is help make this poem bad. Okay.
Okay. I can do that.
All right. So the darkness that I feel is a darkness that's inside of me. You complete it.
The darkness I feel is a darkness inside of me. Really crappy poem. That darkness I feel is a darkness inside of me. And I crave the light. Boom, it's done. And it's terrible.
It's true. That's you know you did a great job.
On the side of the.
You did a pretty great job, and you know what? You did the NI answer right there. That's the NI answer. How do you make that bad poem complete as a bad poem? You know, I feel darkness inside of me, and so I seek the light, or whatever. It's perfect.
I was thinking, and that's okay. Like what?
I was
feel
thinking.
like it's a little bit worse when you're like, and I crave light. Like, okay.
Oh, it is worse.
See, I couldn't actually get there. I was thinking, and therefore there are pork cutlets in my pants.
What? No, it has to be bad.
I know. I can't. I have trouble.
That's his version of a terrible poem.
Random? You're just gonna throw something random in there?
I mean, I don't know, because the word couplet was thrown out there by Isaiah Rude, and it put the notion of pork cutlets in my head.
Oh, pork cutlet.
That is a nice sounding word to go with couplet. Like that's pretty good.
This is any stuff going on right now.
Okay, well, let me tell you right now what I think I'm hearing is third slot in I is what I think I'm hearing.
That's what I was thinking too.
Interesting.
What's third slot and I?
That would be ISFP or ISTP. ISFP or ISTP.
Cool.
My gut is ISFP, but let's see. This is a tough one for me because I always have trouble figuring out what FI looks like. Let me see if Rachel can ask a couple of FI questions. She's a little bit more in tune with FI possibly than me. Come on, Rachel.
Yeah,
Get your dampness out.
Definitely more. Okay. What are some feeling words?
Feeling words.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling words.
Or if you were to write a poem about feelings, what are some of the words that you would use?
When I write poems about feelings, I tend to use more things like, I don't make it very clear per se. I use a lot of metaphors. And so let's say I was feeling really, really frustrated, or like everything just is a certain way, I might say that the sky is red. So I might use a color and compare it to the sky or something else. I don't really use words for just emotions. Like I wouldn't say I'm angry, or I'm hurt.
You would rather like paint the picture of it?
Yeah, and then you kind of figure that out. Yeah.
True or false? Words are clumsy approximations of the infinitely complex of emotions. Basically, words can't even begin to describe the deep. Like you could never articulate an emotion in words. Basically, do you think that is true for you?
Yes and no. I mean, the whole idea in my mind of art is that activity. you're trying to express that. And so to say you could never do so would make it all feel kind of pointless. You can, to an extent, convey what you feel, but there will be nothing like the other person actually feeling it. Yeah.
Do you think that
It's
your
like describing color. If you know what color looks like, you know, but if you don't, you don't. Pardon me? Did you ask a question?
creative endeavors, are they primarily acts of self-expression or primarily acts of communication?
Well, okay. It's tricky because I feel like when you're expressing yourself, that is, you're communicating something with people. But it is, I think, it depends on the person. For me personally, it is about self-expression more than anything else. So that's why it can be kind of vague, because if I was really trying to communicate and get it to be understood clearly, then I probably would not use my metaphors, right? So it depends.
And what aspects of the self do you want to express more? Your intuitive truths or your authentic feelings?
My intuitive truths or my authentic feelings. I don't know which one more. I feel like maybe it's more so how I feel about myself. I think that's primarily what I try to express, what I have to express, actually. Yeah.
I see. And do you exercise? Do you like go jogging or something like that?
So no, no. If I have seasonal affective disorder, so I'm like a dead tulip in most of the year. I live in Canada. When it is the summertime, then I am very much alive and I want to be out and about. But now, no, I don't.
So dead tulips are not lively?
No, they're just cold.
Or droopy. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
Bold.
So that's a bit circumstantial because maybe if I were somewhere else, my answer might be a little different, you know?
When it's warm, do you go? What kind of things do you do when you go outside?
Oh, I just like to walk. I like to just feel the air. The place smells nice. I like the smell of the grass. I like to find places to sleep. I do. And I'm a food tourist, so I like to find places that have nice food. And I just write outside. I write outside. I just like enjoying being out there when it feels better. That's it.
ISFP.
Really
That's what I was thinking. It seems like an experiential kind of frame to me.
ISFP. I mean, it's possible ESFP. Everyone here is saying test your TI and see if it's 7th or 8th. I'm pretty convinced you're ISFP regardless, but we could test it a bit. Do you feel like you're an introvert or an extrovert?
That's a tricky one. I feel really introverted, but I wasn't always this way, so I don't really know. Like, I can be very energized in a conversation with a person, but after that, and I can get really, really energized, like you'd think I was on drugs. But after that, it's just, I just want to, I need to recharge by myself for like a very, very, very long time. That's how I feel. I don't know. I can be both ways, but I tend to just like to be one-on-one with people and then by myself.
Okay. Who is my mom's husband's only daughter in relation to me?
My mom's, your mother, her husband's only daughter. In relation to you?
Yeah.
Your sister of some sort.
Yeah, your sister. Right.
Sister. Yeah.
Sister. Okay. So
Excuse me.
Or your sister. Yeah.
one thing that's nice for viewers here to see is the range of TI. So it's like this is 8 slot ISFP TI, it seems like. 7 slot ESFP TI would have even more trouble than that, you know. But I could test more, but
you think I'm an ISFP?
I think you're an ISFP.
Okay. Well.
That's where I was kind of leaning immediately too.
Oh yeah.
Why
Yeah.
immediately?
I mean, I thought INFP for like at the very beginning, but I think the third slot NI became pretty apparent pretty quickly. And then
What made you think the third slot NI was apparent?
well, your answer to our questions for when we tested your NE seemed consistent with polar NE.
You ran from those extroverted intuition questions as fast as you could the other direction.
Which, the ones where you guys, I don't know, the only question I can think of that you might have been trying to ask me, that was with the people from the building.
No, the poem. When Isaiah said, finish this poem, right?
Yeah.
You said, I couldn't possibly, it needs to be right. When I said, okay, finish it, make it bad. You still weren't tolerant of anything other than the correct answer for that, which was the NI answer as to how to correct that, complete the poem for badness, you know?
Is it possible that, okay, so my question to you then is that to you, is it just an indication of any polar like you're saying, or could it just be that when it comes to the specific thing that I care about very deeply, which is something like writing, I get very specific?
Well, I would say
because
that...
I value that a lot, right? Just wondering.
I would say that it's indicative not just of polar NE, but it's indicative of absolute value NI. You have an absolute value for the singular best course of action, and so you wait and wait and wait when given the prompt until you come up with what you conclude is the correct NI answer to what makes this poem bad. In other words, how do I make this archetypally bad is the question. Now, it is possible, however, as Lobo Feroz here says, that you are in fact an INFJ, that your NI is dominant. That's plausible as well. I don't hear it. It seems to me I'm hearing FI, but I could be wrong. Rachel, I would like to get your thoughts on this.
I'm not that good at poetry.
Well, I can on it. Well,
I'm not that.
Go ahead.
I'm creative, but I'm not refined in my art at all. And some of the best like lessons that I've ever learned were from ISFPs. They're very, very good at their art.
What do you think you are, Celine?
I don't know for sure. I have been typed, I'll tell you, because I used to feel very, very strange. An INTP once typed me as an ENFP. I was pretty consistently typed like that, but it depends on my mood. Then I got INFP, and then I just don't, I've been around ENFPs, and we're alike in many ways, but they're just more open. I'm not open. No thanks. And I tend to like to be by myself a lot more, so I don't know.
Well, let me just say this.
I'm just a lot more sensitive.
I gotta talk for a second to the chat here. Lobo Feroz, you're barking up the wrong tree across the board here. This woman is FI Dom, and I am quite convinced she's an ISFP. The thing is, I just don't hear any extroverted intuition in you. When you're describing your poetry, you're talking about
We're only talking about my poetry. We're not talking about anything else. So you use the poetry and the artistic thing, and that's what you guys kind of seem to be judging me on.
Right, FI.
And I'm not disagreeing with what.
FI. FI. This is it right here. FI. You're doing it.
What? I'm doing what?
FI.
All I'm saying, okay, listen. Sorry. All I'm saying is, not that you are incorrect. You very much could be correct. But it's just that I only see that you guys are focusing on the artistic thing, and that's my question to you is, that's it? Like, you just think I'm an ISFP because I take my art very seriously, and I don't like to be wrong when I express it?
No.
Okay, give me one more reason, and then I'll accept your answer.
I'm not asking you to accept my answer. That's FI. This FI thing. The way you're questioning me right now is FI. Okay? That's what I'm saying. It's like you're displaying nothing but FI all the time, and I'm not hearing any NE, so that makes you an ISFP or an ESFP.
Okay, so it's because you're only hearing FI.
I mean, I'm no FI expert, but this is FI.
It is FI. I don't disagree with you.
So, you know, that's another reason I've sort of caught on to the FI from the beginning. There's a lot of I've typed ISFPs before, and there's this like you're invading my ontology by drawing conclusions about me that are too firm, too soon. I get this response from ISFPs consistently. But the other thing is, this is not. I'm not doing a full typing here. We're just sort of trying to give you a quick typing, and I'm doing the best I can with it. You seem pretty convincingly ISFP to me, based on the existing data, and it's obviously tentative. I would have to do a lot more typing, but there's lots of reasons besides just the poetry. Just my engagement with you in general says ISFP.
Okay, that was what I was asking. I didn't want it to just be that one thing,
If that makes sense to you guys. But
Sure, it does. It makes perfect sense, and that's fine.
yeah.
Okay, well, thank you guys. This was
Thank
fun.
you.
All right.
Have a good
Yeah,
day, Celine.
thanks. Bye.
Well, now we got Nikolai. A lot of people are rolling in here fast. This is a good idea. It's got more people. 42
Yeah.
concurrent viewers is bigger than usual
fun.
numbers.
Yeah, that's pretty fun actually. I like that too.
Nikolai
There's less
Kurlo.
pressure too. It's just kind of like
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
You're about to start
Without the ranges.
No camera. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Okay. Isaiah, why don't you start this one off? I'm gonna smoke a cigarette and I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna go stand outside, get a little fresh air, smoke a cigarette, and crack open another Coke. Or maybe I have another Coke here.
With regards to your I guess I'll just start with this. How is your eating and sleeping habits? Are you on top of that pretty consistently, or like do you get a regular sleep or what?
No regular sleep at all. I'm quite erratic. Like one day I'll go without any sleep at all, and the other I'll sleep like 15 hours without like any way of getting up.
And what about
sleeping.
food? Do you find yourself going long periods of time without eating and then like feeling kind of grumpy and not knowing why? And then you realize like you haven't eaten in like several hours?
It's more like I eat like every 15 minutes or so. I just gorge myself all the time.
I see.
Yeah, and I eat whatever I have in the fridge. I'm not picky. Really.
All right. So in general, would people describe you as the kind of person who would stick up for something as soon as he sees something is wrong, or are you a little bit more agreeable and conflict avoidant?
Oh, I don't like conflict. Like most of the time when there's conflict, I just stay silent unless somebody really like infuriates me with something. Like it has to be really over the top.
Is that because you don't get mad very easily, or?
Yeah, I'm very serene most of the time, very calm.
Okay.
But when I do get mad, it's like a fucking explosion, a sudden burst of anger.
All right. Cool. So, do you have any creative hobbies?
Oh, yeah, I kind of like writing, mostly poetry. I've been actually struggling with learning like how to do proper rhyme and rhythm and things like that. And I'm really bad at it, but it's fun, so I do it most of the time. I have free time, of course.
So you like, okay, so when you write, do you have a particular way of going about writing or what?
Well, it's quite sporadic, so I just sit down and spit something on the page and whatever it is. I mean, I'm not trying to make it any good. I'm currently writing for myself, I suppose. And it just turns out like total crap most of the time.
Okay. So basically you like to write for yourself. Do you not like to share that art with other people, or is that just not necessary for you?
Well, I do like to share it, but only when I think it's kind of okay. I mean, I don't want I don't want to make people read like complete another shit. You know,
Is that because you're scared of how they're going to perceive it, or what?
no, not really. I mean, I like critique. I like criticism. You know,
Okay.
I like getting torn apart, but I just don't want to waste people's time with utter crap.
Or, I,
Hmm.
I have a question about this. So, if you don't allow yourself to just write in the way that you're talking about writing, if instead you try to take a different approach, are you unable to produce writing? Have you tried it at all, or is it just
I mean, I can do fine, you know, with different approaches. I was trying the other day, like actual structure to my writing, you know, not being as erratic, but it doesn't work too well. I just can't get words on the page. Um,
I see. And if you were asked, if you were hired to write an essay about what ought to be done in response to the coronavirus, and you were told, we'll pay you whatever, good amount of money, and you have to have it in 24 hours, would you be able to get it to them in 24 hours? Would you want the job, first of all? Would you do a good job, and would you be able to get it on deadline?
well, I'd actually take the job and do it like in the last possible hour or half an hour, and it'd be like semi good. Like I'm really, I just do things in the last moment, and they turn out to be okay most of the time.
What do you think should be done about the coronavirus?
Uh, well, I suppose people should just kind of stay at home and be more cautious and watch their hygiene. As far as I'm aware, you know, there's statistics and it's harmless to most people, especially young ones. Like it was like 80 plus that are in the danger zone of like death and more serious symptoms.
Okay, let's say you're at a party. You're having a great time. Everybody's yucking it up. Everyone's cool. You're having fun. Nobody's said anything nasty or to anybody. It's all good vibes. And then you learn that it's a party for this group of people who hates French Canadians and advocates for the extermination of French Canadians. Do you stay at the party or do you leave?
I'd stay there as long as we don't get into any like discussion about their extremist beliefs, I suppose. I mean, it won't bother me too much, except I'll kind of have a. I won't really be agreeing with them, but yeah,
Okay,
I
well let's say you're hanging out there and then you say something. You make a mistake. You're gonna say. Well, you make the mistake that I made earlier. You were trying to say platonic relationship, and you said secular relationship instead. And the person at the party goes, "Oh my God, that's such a dumb thing to say. Only a French Canadian would say something that dumb." How do you respond?
uh, okay, I have no idea. I have to think about this. Well, I'd either just say, I just leave. I mean, I don't want to be bothered with such idiots. Like, at that point, I'll just go away.
I think I'd probably be like,
BRB.
I'd be like, okay, I gotta know. What is up with you guys and French Canadians?
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with French Canadians.
Yeah.
Why,
So,
why do you hate them so much? Okay, so let's see here. Let's say I were asking you to help me figure out how these various components of this thing work. So there's four fields: metaphysical internal, metaphysical external, physical internal, physical external. There's four kinds of information flow: putting information, getting information, receiving information, and interfacing. And there's three angles of observation: agent, subject, and object. When you figure out the mechanics of those elements combined, you get typology and cognitive functions. But I can't quite put it all together. Can you help me figure that out, or are you not a good person to ask?
Uh, I'll try. I mean, if I understand it on a good enough level, I'll try. But I'm really bad at explaining things unless I'm actually writing them. Like if I actually have to speak to the person, the guy's not gonna get anything. Like he's gonna be left completely confounded.
Okay, let's say you were asked to be the administrator of an office, and your job was to make sure all the employees were getting there on time, clocking in as proper. If somebody called in sick, you need to find a replacement for them, and you need to make sure the shipping orders are all checked in properly, and make sure all the paperwork's completed, file it away in the proper place, and deal with employee basically like scheduling, like, oh, well, I want to work on Thursday from 4 to 2, and well, you can't work then because Bob's working. You got to do all that stuff. Are you a good person for that job?
Fuck no, just let somebody else do it. I can't be bothered with trifle social interactions like this and having to do it.
Do you
I couldn't even follow what the whole thing was. I mean, it's too much of nothing.
do you struggle with basic household tasks like putting together an IKEA piece of furniture from IKEA?
I haven't actually ever bothered doing such a thing. I mean, I usually do. I mean, I just can't do it. I mean, I'm really bad.
You're really bad?
Yeah, I can't do these things with my hands.
So if you tried to put together like a couch, let's say, I don't know if the instructions are really relevant to that. I don't know.
The couch isn't gonna be
Okay, let me ask a different question here. Let me ask another question. So I'm hanging a picture on the wall, and instead of getting a nail and hammering it in properly, I'm trying to push a little sliver of metal I found somewhere into the wall, and I'm going to try to hang it on that, but it keeps falling off because it's too heavy for that, and I keep trying to do it this way, where I'm trying to sort of force a paper clip in there, and just kind of like hang it, if I can just make it just sort of hang there for a second. So you're watching me do this. How much does this bother you watching me do that?
It isn't. I'm just gonna stand there and laugh quietly. I'm gonna mock you after that.
Okay, now let me try this one. Your friend Maria is on the computer, and she's really bad with computers. And she said, I can't get into my email. Can you help me? And she doesn't want to get up, though. She doesn't want you to sit there. She wants you to walk her through the process. So you're like, okay, Maria, go to your email. So what do I push first? I push this thing here? Go down.
I've been through that so many times. No fucking way. I'll just tell her I have no clue what we're supposed to do. I fucking hate doing this. Like, whenever my grandmother asks me, it's just ridiculous.
Just walk me through it, Nikolai. Just walk me through it, okay? I need to learn how to do it myself.
Oh, fucking way. This is awful.
Okay, so let's do a couple of TI tests. I know where I'm leaning with this one. Okay, TI test. How about this? So, if some baseball players have cheese, and all people with cheese are from Wisconsin, and some Wisconsinites play golf, is it necessarily the case that some baseball players wait, I got confused. Hold on. Let me start over.
Yes, they do. They hate cheese.
They do? Oh, I don't know.
If
Well,
you're
anyway,
trying to use the first one anyway, it would be baseball players. I don't know where you're going with that.
I don't know where I was going here. I lost my place. All right, let's try again. All right, if Tony and Bobby go to the supermarket, then Josie will stay home alone. And if Josie stays home alone, then Frank will come over and get his Mac on. But if either Josie or Bobby... Tony or Bobby... if either Tony or Bobby don't go to the supermarket, then Josie will not be home alone. And if Josie's not home alone, then Frank will not come over and get his Mac on. Okay, so it turns out that it is not the case that both Tony and Bobby can leave the house. What can we conclude?
That the other guy with was it Frank or Joseph won't be coming?
Right,
Frank
won't get
won't
his
be
Mac
coming.
on.
Yeah, Frank won't get his
because they
Mac on.
both have
Right.
to be out.
Okay, let's try a genealogy one. My mother's father's wife's only daughter's mother husband's only daughter's husband's only son is who in relation to me?
Uh, I, I didn't follow it at all myself. I have no idea.
No.
I
Let me
completely don't follow.
let me do it again. Let me do a different one or another one. My mother's sister's husband's only child's mother's only sister husband's.
I can't do it. I
You
just
can't do it?
do
Okay.
stuff with, but yeah.
I think we're at dad now.
Yeah, we're getting there. The thing is, I'm not sure if this is a language thing or not because you've got a fairly thick accent. Obviously, English isn't your native language. So,
Well, actually, so yeah, English is not your native language, so I presume that you have some sort of experience with being an adult and learning a foreign language, right?
I've been learning it since quite young, like I think 12, 13 years old.
13 years, that's not
Maybe.
long enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were learning English, or if you were to learn another foreign language, what do you think would be more helpful for you? To learn the rules of how the grammar works and how, sentences are constructed and everything like that, so that you can sort of use words to replace,
Well,
like certain sentence patterns and stuff like that? Or just learning phrases and just kind of like going as you go?
well, I'm not sure how because like I learned English with basically by playing games and watching YouTube videos. Like at school, I couldn't grasp anything at all. So I'd say I just have to like listen to the language and get an intuition for it, an instinct. Because
Right.
it's been basic carved into my brain the the English grammar without. I mean, I can't tell any proper rules.
Okay.
what would you be best at judging? A poetry contest, a music contest, or a painting contest?
Well, a music on. I'm really not sure. I mean, a painting contest would be the easiest one to do because it's very obvious. Their subjectivity to painting, and in poetry, it's kind of more like a taste. As
So
long
you,
as it's not utter shit.
so you think some media are more subjective than others?
Yeah, I mean, art and music should be much much easier, like drawing and music, and poetry just like for example, don't like poems that are just like too much about love and feelings and stuff. I like poetry for its structure, for its sound. So it depends on the person. So yeah, I think I can't judge poetry objectively. So I do art. It should be the easiest one.
Okay. Rachel, you have any questions?
Do you play any instruments?
Nah, I suck. I've tried. I can't. I can't do anything with my hands. Really.
Are you yourself good at drawing pictures that look like the thing that they're supposed to look like?
uh, no, it's more like a very mutilated abomination of the thing I'm trying to draw. It's fucking ridiculous.
Okay, well, I would say that everything about you is saying to me INTP except for the TI test results.
Well, I mostly test INTP, except on the like cognitive function types, and they break it down. I get NE at the top usually.
Wait, you're not.
INTP?
Yeah, he says he normally gets INTPs, but he got one test that has with a cognitive function breakdown it has them as an ENTP actually, but INTP seems consistent with everything about you except for the
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
except for the TI test. I gotta deal with my phone now. I realize my phone's been off. I'm sure my clients have been trying to get in touch with me to confirm our thing tonight, so I gotta deal with that right now. I'm gonna go with INTP despite the TI test results.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
consistent with
INTJ Bond Chase. I think that's crazy. He's not an INTJ. I would go ahead and eliminate that.
Yeah, he seems too tone aware, I guess. Despite his, obviously he's not a native speaker of English. He still kind of has a basic awareness of like communicating in ways that aren't explicitly through your words, I guess. I don't know. I thought he was an INFJ for a second.
I did too, actually. It's funny.
You can hear the 5 o'clock shadow and the like old concert T-shirt and the piled up soda cans around his computer. You can practically hear them.
Oh, that's INTP. That's INTP. That sounds like my friends. You're like taking me back in time. I go through a portal and I can see an INTP's desk. Yes. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I'm zoning out.
TI.
I think it would, I guess it would make sense that he wouldn't do quite as well in the genealogies if English isn't a second language. I certainly couldn't do the genealogies that well in my second languages.
I couldn't do it in my native probably either.
That makes sense.
Because it's very kind of, if you have like these repetitive words like mother, father, sister, and I just lose them. I get bored.
You lose it.
Yeah, how do I?
Yeah.
That's why it makes sense why ESFJ would be their dual then, because I feel like ESFJs are so family oriented. They'll take care of that genealogy for them.
Woohoo! Work has been canceled. She said she doesn't want me to go to work tonight because I just want to relax. No mention of the virus.
Happy Coronavirus Day!
Yeah, I know. It's Coronavirus Friday. Nobody's got anything else to do, so... Dark Phoenix INTJ, if you think this guy's an INTJ, and because you're so much like him, then you know what that tells you.
Probably an INTP.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, this guy's not an INTJ, he's not an INFJ, he's an INTP. So, Nikolai, we want to thank you for coming today to get typed, and or not. It's a short typing, but that's my conclusion at the moment, and I think it's a good conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe.
Sure.
It helped me with section and apparently I am. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Hi.
Cool.
Got solvency.
Hi, Sir Aurelius.
What's up?
Hi. Hello. Is my camera on or?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Oh, okay. I can't see myself. Okay. Stop. Wait. How can I see myself?
It's fine. You don't need to see yourself. We can see you.
I don't. Okay, hi guys.
Hi. First question.
I spammed join. I kept spamming. Fuck. This is cool.
First question.
Actually, can I swear? What?
Yes, you can swear. First question.
Oh, okay, good.
List the items in your... Without looking around, list the items in the room where you normally sleep.
There's this ukulele. Oh, I looked. There's my brother. there's my INTJ brother sleeping who's listening to some Russian Duma music. Can you hear it or?
I can't.
Barely.
Should I turn it off or?
It's okay.
Fuck.
It's very, very low.
It's very low. Okay.
Okay, well, Eileen, then fine. You're bad at typing other people. Fine. Well, either one way or the other. Okay. All right. So, I want you to think of a place you haven't been for. You've been more than once, multiple times, but haven't been for a couple of days at least. Like say a grandmother's house, or another place you go to relatively
Okay,
often.
grandmother's house. I thought of it. Okay.
Okay. Now I want you. Can you tell me if I were to say, listen, I need to go rob your grandmother's house, and I need you to walk me through verbally how to get into her bedroom where I'm going to steal her underwear. Okay.
Wait a second. Check our mods. Okay, wait a second.
Some action dominant type.
It was my dad. Sorry, I need to be more quiet. So.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to walk you to my grandmother's house.
Right. So from the door to her bedroom without me tripping over anything. I'm blind and we're on the phone. Okay. And you're walking me through. I'm blind, and you need to make sure I don't trip over anything. Okay, walk me through it.
Oh. So are you inside the house already?
I just opened the door. The door's open, and I'm about to walk in, and I need you to make sure do I go straight? Do I have to turn or what?
You just keep going straight. Eventually, as you're going straight, you're gonna meet stairs. And when you meet the stairs, you need to just get a feel, just tap them or something physically, like tap down, get a feel for the stairs, then start going up. Eventually you're gonna reach like flat ground, if that makes sense. Like, and then you need to go, after you finish the first like 5-6 steps, you need to go left, then just keep going until you reach flat ground again. And then you need to go to her bedroom.
Yeah, I'm looking for specifically her underwear. Can you tell me, do you know which drawer it's in?
You're gonna search for my grandmother's underwear.
Yeah, there's been a big request for it. And I'm fulfilling some orders from people. I had a number of people requested, so I thought I'd just go and steal myself some.
I have never taken underwear from her drawer, but you'll keep going straight, right? And there will be, you'll need to go right.
Okay, hold on. We gotta pause. I accidentally grabbed your grandmother. She's upset. What do I say to her? I don't speak any Russian. I accidentally I groped her, but it wasn't on purpose. Apparently, I just grabbed her boob while I was in here, and she's yelling at me in Russian. I don't know any Russian. I just keep saying, Здравствуй, Vladim, and it doesn't seem to do any good.
What do you need to say to her?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to grope you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You need to go back off and stop groping my grandmother, and then.
Oh, stop!
You say sorry.
Okay, I'll stop. Right. Здравствуй, Vladim.
And for grandmother was nice.
All right,
she's nice.
I'm glad she's so nice.
Because I use random names. And if that makes sense, and yeah, that's kind of it.
If anybody in the chat has any questions they want me to ask, I'm gonna ask the chat here. If anybody has any questions they think I should ask, let's do a couple TI questions. So let's try. If let's see. If if all birds fly and
All birds.
if all birds fly and Tweety flies, therefore Tweety is a bird. All birds fly, Tweety flies,
Okay.
therefore Tweety is a bird. Valid or invalid?
Valid.
Okay, how about
Wait. No. No. It's not.
Oh,
Tweety doesn't need to be a bird.
That's true. But okay, so how about this? Only people from Russia enjoy vodka.
Okay.
Only people from Russia enjoy vodka.
Yes.
I am
Of
enjoying.
course.
I am enjoying vodka. Therefore, I am from Russia. Valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Okay.
Only people from Russia?
Yeah.
Then invalid. Wait. Therefore, you are Russian or you're not Russian? Sorry.
I'll say it again. Only people from Russia enjoy vodka. I'm enjoying vodka. Therefore, I am from Russia.
Yeah. Okay. Valid. Sorry.
Okay, how about this? No roosters eat potatoes. That bird is not eating potatoes. Therefore, that bird is a rooster.
Wait. All roosters eat potatoes?
No roosters eat potatoes.
Okay.
That bird's not
No.
eating potatoes.
Okay. It doesn't mean. Wait. That means that bird is not a rooster.
No birds eat potatoes. That bird is not eating potatoes. Therefore, that bird is a rooster. I mean, therefore,
No.
How about this? No people from Iceland enjoy lettuce. Joe is enjoying lettuce. Therefore, Joe is not from Iceland.
Yeah, he's not from Iceland. Wait. No, he's not enjoying lettuce.
No
People from
Iceland.
lettuce?
No people.
That one's wrong. Sorry, I'm mixing up all the shit.
No. Listen. No people from Iceland enjoy lettuce. Joe is enjoying lettuce. Therefore, Joe is not from Iceland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's not from Iceland.
Okay. Let's see. How about if there are 2 farthings in a quaalude and 4 quaaludes in a penguin, how many farthings are there in a penguin plus a quaalude?
There are no.
If there are 2 farthings in a quaalude and 2 quaaludes in a penguin,
didn't you say 4?
4. Sorry.
It's 4.
No.
If it's two in the thing, then it's 4. Because the first one is 2, then the other one has 2, and that's 4.
No, that's not the end of the question. You didn't let me finish it. If there are 2 farthings in a what? What was the second thing?
What?
Quaalude. All right. If there are 2 farthings in a quaalude and 4 quaaludes in a penguin, how many farthings are there in a penguin and a quaalude?
In a penguin and a quaalude, 6.
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay.
Oh no, that's not right.
No, I got 12. I don't know.
I got
if that's right
10
either, but-
maybe. 10. 8?
In a quaalude, there's 2.
There are 2 farthings in a quaalude. There are two farthings in a quaalude, 4 quaaludes in a penguin. How many farthings are there in a penguin and a quaalude?
So that's 2 times 4 plus the 4 from the extra quaalude. Quaalude? What?
Quaalude.
So that would be
Quaalude.
And means
Quaalude.
plus.
That would
And
be
means
12,
plus.
right?
Okay, is the answer 12? I don't. What do you get, Rachel?
Does and mean plus?
Yes, and means plus.
Well, if what?
Look, there are 2 quaaludes and a farthing, so that's 2. And then there are 4 farthings in a penguin, So that means that there are 4 times 2 farthings in a
Oh.
penguin. There are eight farthings in a penguin.
10.
So a penguin plus a
10,
quaalude
right?
is 10 farthings.
10, yeah.
But you said 4. Wait, hold on. Oh, plus a
It's
first
10.
thing.
It's
4
Whatever the
farthings in a
first thing
penguin.
was.
Yeah, 10. The answer is 10.
The first thing is
Okay,
2.
yeah.
The penguin has 4 of the first one, and the last one is, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yes, Quaalude was a drug from the 70s or 80s, early 80s, late 70s, mid 70s, I don't know. And the key thing to remember about Quaaludes is don't drive on Quaaludes. You can't drive on Quaaludes, you're guaranteed to crash your car. That's the story that everybody says about Quaaludes. I've never driven on them, but that is the general.
I don't know. It's my first time hearing that word, so.
I know, that's why I used it. It was the first time
Thank
Isaiah had
you.
heard it as well. It was a weird word because
Thank you for confusing my brain. Thank you.
You're not the only one.
wait, but a lute is 4
Yeah.
farthings. No, a lute is 2 farthings. There are 4 lutes in a penguin. So a penguin is 8 farthings and a
Yes.
it's 10 horsepower. Regardless, those questions are surprisingly difficult, right? Because you're talking about things that don't make any sense unit-wise. So if I were to say there are 2 bananas in a bunch and 4 bunches in a bucket, it would be a lot easier because you'd be like going, okay, well, there's 2 bananas in a bunch, and there's 4 bunches. That means there's 8 bananas in a bucket. So a bucket is 8 bananas, and a bunch is 2. That's 10 bananas. You know?
Yeah, but using A or B would like make things a lot more serious, a lot more simple, because like then I could like mark them in my brain more easy. Like A equals 2 and like B equals like 4 of 2 and or whatever. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's an
So
interesting kind of
that's-
question. It's an interesting kind of question because it shows how much people are attached to the meanings. How it shows how easily you detach from the meaning into just a symbol. You know. Okay. Anyway,
There's also an SI component to that though too, because the reason I said 12 is because I couldn't remember if you said
Yes.
a penguin plus a quaalude or a penguin plus a first thing. So
the reason I couldn't like process that is because there were 2 really weird words, and I was like marking them, and like I couldn't like I didn't differentiate them, and if that makes sense, I was stuck.
that makes
Like putting
sense. No, it makes
Okay.
0 sense at all. You're making no sense. You're just talking gobbledygook. No, it does make sense. I'm sorry, I was mistaken. I was right the first time. It does make sense. Okay, anyway, hardcore NTP banter here. Well, look, you seem to be an extrovert, Aurelius, as far as I can tell. You seem rather extroverted in your demeanor and stuff. That's not definitive about anything. I could be certainly misleading, especially in cases where you might look at FE2 or something. But I would like to get you to answer the following question. If you were walking down the street and you're walking by a elementary school, and there's a 4th grade class, and it's about 10 years old or so, and the teacher comes out and says, "Oh my God, Aurelius, thank God you're here. She's very pregnant, you can see. I'm going into labor. I have to go to the hospital and get this baby out of me real quick. And somebody's got to cover this class. I can't just leave these kids alone. You, come in here, teach the class. The subject we're covering today, hold on one second. Breathe.
Okay.
Breathe. Hold on a second. Okay, serious. Wait a second. Okay, the subject is, we're doing the book Canterbury Tales by Chaucer. Okay? We need you to teach Canterbury Tales by Chaucer to this group of 26 10-year-olds. Okay, I gotta go. And she's off down the street.
So what do I do?
Now, are you able to take on this task? How comfortable are you taking it on?
Well, I'm not familiar with the subject.
There's a copy of the book on my desk. She says as she's running away.
So am I supposed to read the book to them, or like?
She didn't give you any instructions. She said, teach Canterbury Tales to these 25 10-year-olds while I go
I
give
mean,
birth.
I mean, like I don't know how to teach kids, but I wouldn't be uncomfortable with the situation. I would be like bamboozled, like by the whole thing. I'd be
Okay, so you're
it's
standing. You're in front of the
it's
class now. You're in front of the class now. Okay, you're standing in front of the class, and the fourth
Okay.
graders are going, "Mr. Aurelius, Mrs. Aurelius, we're supposed to pass out all the
Okay,
copies of
it's fine.
Canterbury. What? We're supposed to go pass. They're looking for
Since the
guidance,
children are
Aurelius.
being since the children are being inarticulate, I'd tell them to shut up, and then I'd proceed to like introduce myself, and I'd just I don't know, do whatever
Are you
I think.
Mrs. Thompson's son? Are you Mrs. Thompson's
What?
son?
I am Mrs. Thompson's son. Yes, children.
Are you the one she
I
was pregnant with?
Yeah, what? Yes, of course. Yes, I am that guy. Okay.
Why'd you grow up so fast?
What the frick, man? What the fuck I mean? I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go. So let's see. What other kind of questions can we ask this person that will help us narrow it down? I don't know. I'm leaning NTP-ish in that area.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm kind of in between, like, because my first instinct was action type of some kind. And it's a weird thing to say immediately, but I can definitely see ENTP, but I'm kind of in between that and ESTP.
Yeah,
Kind of. It could
that's
still
where I
be
was
an
heading in
ESTP.
this conversation too.
Yeah.
The thing is, just because he's engaging a lot verbally here, I think there's an inclination to lean towards ENTP, but my guess is based on what Isaiah said, which is you burst onto the scene immediately, obviously an action type. That's one of the things that can be a little deceptive about ENTPs. ENFPs are more likely to burst onto the scene like an action type. ENTPs may play it cool for a second, or I don't know, not even play it cool, just sort of read the scene a minute, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm leaning also ESTP on this one. You don't think so, Ethan? Ethan says ENTP. Ethan McDonald says ENTP, not
Well, that's
ESTP.
Ethan McDonald's an ESTP.
Okay, well, why would... Okay, so is Ethan McDonald think he's an ENTP, or what?
I don't know. I think he's in between the two. I'm not really sure. I don't actually have a position on the type thing. I was just saying that to be a dick.
All right, look, let me ask... I'm sorry, you go ahead, Rachel.
Oh no, I was just saying that ENTP and ESTP can look similar.
Very much so.
So, what's
maybe
more likely?
like action type questions.
Okay, yeah. What's more likely to happen to you? Are you more likely to, if you see some girl across the bar and you want to go talk to her, are you more likely to go talk to her, or are you more likely to sit there and say, I wonder what that body language signal really meant? It could have meant this or this. She hasn't really said anything to me. I don't know what she really means. Maybe I should sit here. She could possibly be trying to... Is she talking to the guy behind me, or what? I'm not sure. Are you more likely to over deliberate it or under deliberate it?
No, like it's if I see a girl, like if I'm in a group and if I'm comfortable in the group, like I'll be thinking more about like the body language. Me actually like going there and actually talking to the individual, I'll be feeling pretty cautious. I might go there, I might talk to the person, but I'll be even when I like before I get there, when I start talking, I won't be feeling the caution or the nervousness anymore. But before that, I'll probably be overthinking it to a degree. Yeah.
Quick question: do you? I don't know if you were here earlier when we were talking about INTPs and their disgusting mess desk stuff. They've got like cans usually all over on their desk. Might have some shit spilled on the floor or something.
Do you see this?
It could be any of the NTPs or ESTP. Just
No. I wasn't going there. How likely are you to view this type of person as illegitimate or worthy of criticism because of their mess or lack of personal hygiene? And I'll ask a follow-up.
I mean, if the person has, like, if the person has criticized, like, if he's being a hypocrite, like he's criticized someone about the hygiene thing, or if he like shows that he does care about hygiene, then like if he himself is a hypocrite and doesn't like actually do hygiene, then I'd be critical of him. But if he doesn't give a damn, or like if he doesn't give a shit, yeah, I'll be fine with it. I don't give a, you do you know what I mean?
Doesn't really say much.
Hmm?
Oh, I was now that
Okay, so
different answer than that.
as far as the
No,
SE,
I don't have preference in that aspect. No. I mean,
Oh, it didn't answer much for me either. I was hoping that one was gonna give me a real signal there, but
Right. I say that because that's typically something that ESTPs pretty consistently criticize about other people, or see as like, I don't know.
I don't see
They poke
it.
fun at it usually.
I actually ignore it. I ignore that. Like if I enter a guy's, like if it's messy, I don't give a damn. Like I only like care about the interaction basically
okay,
between the person, the conversation we're having, or whatever.
let me say this notion here that Aurelius is too comfortable with theoretical thinking to be an ESTP is garbage. ESTPs can be perfectly comfortable with theoretical thinking. They've got TI as a tool function. They're just typically parsing it down rather than sort of expanding on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like okay. Do you feel as though why would you if you were to discover that you were making a video, why would you be making that video?
I mean, I'd be making that video because I thought that I should make the video.
So what would make it? What would make you think that in general? What would comprise making you think this is something I should do versus something I shouldn't do, as far as a good idea versus not such a good idea?
I mean, if it's like I can't. That is a part of like my headspace. It's like what consists of a good idea. It's like if I have a certain like knowledge base, and no, it's not about the knowledge base. It's like about actually making something. You know what I mean? It's like putting something out there is just cool, and actually being like successful with the thing I'm doing, actually like consistently do the thing, which I don't do. I don't. It's pretty difficult for me to actually do consistent actions on things. I've tried making videos, but like I start with explaining, and then I go on, and then I like go on. I wouldn't say tangents, but I'm never satisfied with the video. It's like I start talking about it, but it doesn't go the way I want it. It doesn't feel right. It's like, oh, the start wasn't good. No, it should be this way. This part isn't okay. It should be that way. And like I keep correcting it continuously, the video, and I never really, get anywhere. So as for what constitutes like a good like idea or a bad idea, if it's like I don't really know like the answer to that. Like I don't know if it makes sense. I need some context for that.
Okay, so let me just say that your ideation there about this topic suggests to me 8th slot NE, dominant SE, 4th slot NI. And here's why I'm saying that. It's because when you're talking about what makes something worth doing, or why you'd be doing it or something, it's you have trouble explaining it in a way that suggests an unconscious but active any more than a
Okay.
dominant any. The the fourth slot NI is that last bit you were doing there, where you were like, makes a good is the sort of thing that people do when asked to be competent in their fourth slot, which is something that you can be competent in just for yourself on your own terms without it having to have any sort of communicable defensibility. So I'm thinking ESTP.
And furthermore, I'll add that he the way that he phrased it was more like it. He wants to create something, so that's what he wants to do, and the ideation will serve that. So I don't know. You might think, I want to write a book. I don't know. I think an ENTP might go about doing their creative works completely differently. Because I mean, like typically for me, it's just like I don't know what medium to do this through, but I just gotta.
I mean, look, if you were to ask me why I was doing something, the answer would be something like this. Well, without knowing any more details about what it is that I'm doing, right? Well, I got enamored with some notion at the time that seemed to annoy me or whatever, engage me in some fashion. I had a whole bunch of different ideas about it, and so I started making a video and spewing them out, one right after another. And you say, well, how do you know if something's a good idea or a bad idea? I'd say, well, there's a mix of good ideas and bad ideas in there. Hopefully, there's enough good, powerful insights in that mix that it's worth watching or something. And well, how do you know if a video idea for a whole video is good or not? Well, I just operate on the idea of the channel idea as a whole thing of just dump a shit ton of videos about various subjects up here is what I'm doing. I don't really care if it's a good idea or not. Or it's like I have trouble answering that part too, but in a different way. I'd say my answer would be it runs afoul of NE. Your answer is it runs afoul of I guess any 8th slot. In other words, you have trouble trying to figure out how to get your idea, your 8th slot NE that you SE'd into a NI format, which is a little different.
And also when you were talking earlier about how you're definitely more cautious, you wouldn't, if you're in a friend group, you wouldn't approach a girl immediately. That there are tons of things that people say about ESTPs and try and like generalize their behaviors like that. ESTPs they're not always, although they definitely are able to.
They're able.
They're able to.
You're right, Isaiah. They actually don't.
They don't necessarily have a habit of going and slaying the puss all the time.
It's actually they go through friends.
Which that's why a lot of ESTPs don't think that they are. They read the type descriptions and it puts them off completely because it's a complete misrepresentation of ESTPs, and I don't know. I just don't think it's a good stereotype.
Yeah, that FI polar can express
go a few more questions because you've been speculating the whole time, but sure. I haven't been like inputting stuff enough, I think. So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you like group sports? Do you participate in sports?
I mean, I used to be fat.
Okay.
And and I was pretty bad at them. And I wouldn't really help out the group and things like that. And okay, INTJ brother moving around. I wouldn't contribute to the group, and I felt bad, and people would like call me names and stuff, so I would withdraw. But I mean, I do like group sports if there are like a few more people, like if there aren't too many people.
Okay.
I like them. I do enjoy them. It's not a thing that I really focus on.
Okay.
Right. I find that sports is more of an SE 3rd slot thing anyway.
Okay.
Good point about 3rd slot, but I have a question for you. Do you have any political opinions?
Do I have any what?
Political opinions.
Political opinions. I mean, political opinions are fine. Like you can have them, but getting attached to a single like group, like opinion type thing just never really has never really resonated with me. I mean, I it's more like people are stating their opinions, and we talk about the opinions, and I'm saying, okay, you're okay, that's cool, but you're wrong because of this and this and this. Or I more like it's more like a discussion type thing. I don't have my own personal opinions, no.
So if I were to say, I'm vegan and I am I'm going to tell you that you need to be vegan as well. Now,
I ask why.
Because animals are people too.
I mean, plants, like, I'm not sure if this was proven, but plants feel pain. Killing is killing, no matter what you do.
Right. Only eat
As
fruit.
if
Fallen
this
fruit.
is
Fallen fruits, Aurelius. Fallen fruit. That's what
well,
we
I
eat.
mean, okay, good luck losing, like, good luck. I mean, I'm just
I'm just saying don't be a murderer. I'm
like,
just saying don't be a murderer. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
well,
Right now you're a murderer. Why don't you
you're,
eat? Here, have an orange. It fell off the tree.
it's like we eat to live and to sustain our bodies. Like, it's not moral to kill anything. I guess it is moral to eat only fruits. It is the most moral thing to eat fruits only that have fallen on the ground, but I won't put my body through that. So fuck off.
You can also eat
Makes sense.
animals that have died from old age.
I mean, like, that's highly inconvenient? Like, is there like any like? There's no like group of people like just taking the corpses of like animals that died of old age and like just selling those. Like, it doesn't, economy doesn't work like that. Shops don't work like that. So
Rachel, sorry I interrupted you. Rachel, you got a question or comment?
Oh yeah. Fuck, what was it? I don't know, it went away.
I could see it slip from your memory. I saw that happen. I was like, no, don't forget it.
I know.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, the answer for Smumbler is no. You cannot eat roadkill. That's not vegan. It has to die of old age only. Otherwise, you're taking advantage of an accidental death, a tragedy.
Do you think it's important to take care of your body?
I mean, like, to a degree that addressing like not addressing Eric with his like shitty vegan fucking emulation. I don't know the word. Do I think it's important to keep your body? I mean, yeah, obviously. Like, you need to like keep yourself together, but like not to too much of a degree, you know, like I don't know. Like, it's good, but it's like there are plenty of good things, you know.
So all right, so again, so vegan diet is too extreme, but
Yes.
what's your take on like physical exercise? Do you participate in it, or
I used to exercise. I used to exercise to get slim. I mean, I do like taking walks. Like, but it's more like I take walks and like I listen to music or like talk on the phone or something like that. And
Which would you rather participate in? Which would you rather participate in? You have two choices. Participate in a improvisational poetry contest or a debate about veganism.
A debate about veganism, because it's easier.
If you were asked to do the improvisational poetry contest, and the challenge was, as indicated, was to be as clever and wordplay-ish as possible in your improvised poetry. Oh, how do you think you do?
It would be cringy. I would probably enjoy it somewhat, but I feel like when I do poetry, it's like I tend to just laugh at my own shit, and it's like I do fine. I wouldn't do too well, but I do fine, I guess. I don't know.
How comfortable would you be with a 4-way rap battle right now?
A 4-way rap battle?
Rap battle.
Rap?
Yeah.
I've never done raps, really. I don't like rap, so I do really badly, probably.
I want to say Chris Chapman. I don't think so. I'm just not buying that at all. That doesn't seem
What's
to
this
be
thing? I'm not looking at the chat.
I have it up here so I can see it. Chris Chapman is saying ISTJ. I'm just not buying that one bit.
Yeah, no.
ISTJs are like these weirdest. ISTJs are like they talk about just their own lives. I don't know. Like,
well, you just don't seem effy polar to me at all.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not effy polar, dude.
Yeah,
like,
no way.
my brother is INTJ. He has like this ISTJ friend, and like I called the guy, right? And like, hey, dude, like, and he's like, hey, and like I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, why are you talking like that? And I'm thinking, why did he like act like that? But then like I meet the guy and he's like, oh, hey, dude, like, what's up? What's going on? And like the level of like, inconsistency with his like social cues is like insane. Like, I'm not a polar guys. Like,
Okay, all right, listen up. Hold on. Let me interject here. El Lobo Feroz is right. We need to move on to another party. We've typed you for quite some time now. ESTP is what I'm typing. ESTP.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
See you
Goodbye.
later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. You were great. We enjoyed it.
Yeah,
ESTP.
thank you, Eric.
No problem.
Love you guys.
Yeah,
okay.
likewise. So El Lobo Feroz, you were right about. I got to keep on track of that shit. David Sanderson. Hi, David Sanderson.
Hey. I haven't done anything like this before. I'm definitely not social. I mean, not. I'm like homeschooled, so I'm not very.
Okay, well, just relax, close your eyes, and let the molestation begin.
For some people it feels like that, so be careful.
Okay, so here we go. Let's see. How can you tell me about the last time you went out to eat at a restaurant?
Nope. I don't know the last time.
Okay. How about
Was it like
coffee or something? Last time you went out for coffee?
Drinking one right now?
It was a long time ago. Yeah. I think I do. No. I mean, I can't. Like, if I know something, then I know it. So.
Okay. Last last time you okay? Well, what's the last? Give me an example of something you do recall doing outside of the house.
We went to like a storage unit somewhere so that mom could ship packages. Because we do work like for an auction. They have like an eBay account and they sell stuff.
I see. When you went to that, can you articulate some minor events like we stopped to get coffee on the way there, but there was no cream, and mom had to turn around and go back to the place and get some more creamers, or some minor insignificant thing like that?
No, I'm not very good at that. Let's see. No, I got a terrible like memory of details. I had like, let's see. I don't know if I don't think I ate breakfast. Yeah, I had like 3 rolls, or yeah,
3 rolls.
3 roll-ups.
Roll
They're
ups.
just, no, they're like tacos or something. They're like, hmm. I don't really watch TV. I guess it depends on what I'm watching. I don't like watching TV. I watch like movies and stuff on Netflix. I don't watch like reality TV. Um, no, I don't watch sports. Yeah, I have a dog. Um, I don't know what kind of breed it is. He's
Do you have
large and
any
he's white, and hang out with him once in a while.
Do you have any nicknames for your dog?
No, we
No, we
just
just
call him
call
by
them by
these.
these.
Thanks, Noah.
We just call him Tim.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, do you think you could come up with some nicknames for your dog?
Um, I don't know. I could come up with a bunch of random nicknames, but they wouldn't really
Yeah,
suit
they don't
him.
have to be
I
good.
don't know. He's a dog. I mean, I think Sam fits him pretty well, but he's I don't know. When I think about him, I just think of Sam. I mean, you could call him something like Jimmy, but that wouldn't really fit him. Billy.
Reminds me of it reminds me of a guinea
Gambone.
pig I had when I was a kid. My brother had one named Squeakers, and I named mine Josh. So it was just kind of funny.
But I don't understand though. How's Billy a nickname for Sam?
Well, because some pets have to have, human names.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
They're
but listen, if asked for a nickname for Sam, come up with some nicknames possibly for Sam. I would say Sammy, Samuston, Sam Alabama Bam Bam, Samalaka. I don't know.
Right.
It's something related to Sam, right? You came up with Billy, and what was
Well,
the
his
other
name
one?
is actually comes from Samwise
Samwise.
from Lord of the
Oh.
Rings. Samwise, Samson? No.
Samson's good.
Samuel?
Do you ever call your dog any of those things?
No, not really. I just call him Sam.
So when you're alone with your dog, how often do you get into the cute puppy voice and start going, "Hey Sam boy, how are you doing today?" And are you comfortable doing that in front of other people?
I don't really do that very often, and I don't really do it in front of other people. I pet him. I'm affectionate towards him, but I don't really talk to him like he's like a child,
Right.
or like, I don't know.
I do that constantly.
Okay, so what sort of things do you feel, if asked to do some sort of task, what kind of task do you feel most comfortable being asked to do?
Oh, that's probably a good question. I can do different kinds of tasks, but I can do a bunch of different things, in my opinion. Um, I can do tasks that involve like strategic thinking. So I can do tasks that involves just following step-by-step orders, but I'm not as good with that. I'm probably um, you know, yeah, I follow like
What would be an example of strategic thinking kind of task?
I don't know, something like chess, because that's kind of what comes to mind. That's not really a task that people ask you to do.
Do
But
you
a lot of things are kind of like this. So.
like strategic like video games and stuff?
Yeah, I don't play video games a lot, but when I do, I like video games where you have a lot of mobility, where you can do different things, but you also have like, it's not like endless possibility. You can sort of constrain it, and you can sort of move in a single direction.
Right.
You can like come up with like a strategy for different kinds of situations.
If you were going to come up with one piece of advice that was the universal piece of advice that you were going to have broadcast to every ear in the world all of a sudden in their own language, what would that piece of advice be? Assuming it can be only about one sentence long.
That's a tough question. Well, man. I don't know, try to build a better world or something. I mean, I can't really think of any like good advice that I would have that someone else like didn't have. You know, right. Oh man. Usually when I think of advice type stuff, it's usually applied to myself. So
what's the best piece of advice you've heard? Or what would be the best advice to give you if you were going to
I
advise somebody?
listen
What
to like
advice to give?
leadership a lot. I mean, if I were to come up with I could have some like good points that I could tell somebody that they should probably follow. Like you should probably do this and this and this. But I don't like have a single cohesive framework for everything. It's like I come up with different ideas every once in a while, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work as well.
Imra, Oztech, you and I are on the same page here on that last one. It's hard to say though. I think it's Imra Oztek's indication after El Lobo for Roses. Ha ha ha. I'm thinking ISFP. That's where I'm leaning right now, David Sanderson is ISFP, but it could be INTJ, and I think that's where everybody's going is INTJ or ISFP. Some people are saying no, not an INTJ. Some people are saying NE. I don't see the NE. Let's do an NE test.
Yeah.
I've gotten INTJ, but my mind isn't working as well as it might. Like I'm kind of like
You've gotten INTJ?
I
No,
got
he's okay, continue.
Did you get
what?
Go on. You're good.
Well, I've thought about it a lot. I mean, I haven't taken the test in a long time, but I've looked at the cognitive functions, and I think that it's hard to say. I mean, I don't think I'm a feeling type. I think right now just being under the spotlight makes me more like neurotic. I'm a pretty neurotic person in general.
Do you have a favorite
I don't
subject?
know. I've never thought about being an FI Dom.
Do you have a favorite subject that you're learning?
Not any single subject. I mean, I'm interested in a lot of like I'm interested in debate, I guess. Sometimes I'm pretty angry, not at any, but not like always at the world. But I can be like, I can hold pretty strong feelings of resentment and bitterness. Um, um, I don't, it's more like a feeling rather than something that you can really pin down to any specific thing. Like it can involve an amalgamation of different factors that sort of affect me psychologically. That's kind of how my feelings work, is where I go throughout the day, and sometimes I don't really attend to my feelings, but they're kind of there and they're affected by different things that happen during the day. And I kind of notice that, um, but I'm not always aware of it. Sometimes I feel like my feelings are more spontaneous, but if you really think about it, it's not really the case. Like they're slowly changing and they're sort of kind of complex in a way.
Yeah, I'm leaning INTJ.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was my gut, what my gut said. And I mean, I think we could do some NE tests, but the thing is, I'm not sure that an INTJ's results would be significantly. I mean, it would, yeah, because some ISFPs can seem to kind of pass the NE polar test. I'm not sure.
I'm leaning INTJ. Look, the thing about it is, I've heard this third slot FI shit from INTJs before. It's no offense. I mean, I mean like, I just mean like I've heard this kind of that's some third slot FI, the way that it's sort of it's almost like a precious jewel they're holding in front of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to dominants who are like when he got all talkative about the when he started like going fancy talk, you could tell, okay, that now he's sort of settling into his intuition a bit more. That doesn't sound like an ISFP settling into their NI. It sounds a little different than that. I don't hear the FI being predominant in the frame by the fact that you seem to be not fussy about the notion that you might be an ISFP. Whereas ISFP would probably be very fussy about that notion, as they tend to be kind of. ISFPs get very fussy in typing sessions. That's how you know they're not INFPs too. INFPs don't. They stay cool and distant emotionally the whole time, and then leave me going like I don't know because they're my supervisor type.
Yeah.
Rachel, you got any
My mom's an
questions?
INFP. Sometimes we have some strong disagreements on things.
I bet.
You and INFPs disagree?
Yeah.
What would you say is a movie that you can watch over and over?
I don't know. There's some good movies out there.
Okay, you have to choose
I like
one.
Shawshank Redemption. I thought that's a pretty good one.
Okay.
Who
I
would
haven't seen
want
it
to
in a while, though.
rewatch Shawshank Redemption?
But I know you were Eric was kind of fishing for a particular answer earlier with the anger thing. We can get into that a little bit more. Do you think do you kind of have the feeling that everyone around you is doing everything wrong and everyone needs to be corrected? I'm not really too familiar with this this feeling.
Yeah,
That seems to be
sometimes I get that feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like people are just kind of incompetent. But I feel incompetent sometimes too, and I don't really necessarily feel like in the position to judge people because I have my own particular flaws. I think we should probably try to be more objective about our flaws and try to relegate tasks accordingly.
If you were going to, delegate a task to me, which task would it be?
Um, I don't know. a task probably involving like some form of like entertainment, I guess. I don't know what that would mean.
Okay, but
Like,
what if we were all stranded on a desert island and nobody really needs any entertainment? It's just the four of us. Me, Rachel, Isaiah, and you, and you're in charge.
you would be more like the brainstormer coming up with different ideas about what we could do.
He's
I
doing
guess.
his job to you.
What's Isaiah gonna do?
What's who gonna do?
What's Isaiah gonna do? He's an ENTP as well.
Oh,
The
I don't know. I
sidekick.
guess everybody would have to kind of help out in a way. I mean, I'm not just gonna make one person do one specific kind of task. I'll just do whatever makes the most sense over time when I learn about your respective strengths and weaknesses in certain areas.
This is not determinate at all, but you're doing a thing. My brother's an INTJ. It's this look that you get when you're like, oh God, I have to give an answer, but none of these are right. So you kind of just give a. I can't describe it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I totally know what you're
I'm
talking
trying
about
so
too.
hard not to make a facial. You're doing it now. You're doing it right now.
The answer is, David Sanderson. You would say, Eric, you be in charge. Why are you making me in charge?
Because they don't. It's like Now, what's your dream career if you were to choose one?
Dream career.
Yeah, like you could feel happy.
I don't know. Like if I could do anything I wanted to do, that would be different from like I tried to weigh my like ideas about what I could do to like what actually would work. Like I don't think I'm going to become like an artist or a musician or anything like that and like make money off of doing something like that.
Right.
I was thinking about learning how to do like programming. My dad's into my dad just got into he's an ENTJ. He got into data analysis. I thought that might be interesting because you can make a lot of money off of that. And you don't really have to have like a specific schedule for when you wake up, when you do a particular activity, or how long you do it.
Yeah.
Like if you're just like
Okay,
doing it
Nicholas
like
Watson, you need to
business.
stop right now. You need to stop speculating about my sex life, okay? All right, Nicholas Watson, stop. Sorry, David Sanderson. Nicholas Watson's making dirty things. Nicholas Watson said I get a Percocet enema. I do not get a Percocet enema. It's not true.
Boo hiss! That's gross.
Yeah.
But this is a safe butt zone.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, well, I think you're an INTJ, David Sanderson.
Yeah.
I declare you an INTJ.
You too, Isaiah?
Yeah, I'm convinced.
Cool.
Okay, are you satisfied, David?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming and getting typed. We appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye now.
All right.
There he is, a level for Rose.
Rose. A level for. I could go for Mexican food right now.
There he is.
I was about to say I'm about to get off too after this one.
Oh, man. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. How many? Okay, let me begin with this question. What type are you?
INTP.
Okay, easy squeezy. We are amazing. We are good, you guys. We are really good. So what makes you think you're an ISP? I think you're an INFP.
I think it's pretty insulting to call me a filler type, man.
Insulting? Your feelings are the
Insulting?
least insulting things of all. Those are authentic dampness. Don't you love dampness?
Maybe when I'm really fucked up on drugs.
Hmm. Okay.
What's
Well, let's
uh?
go ahead, Rachel.
Do you wanna?
Go ahead, Rachel. My bad.
Sorry, I just want to know if you smoke marijuana.
I used to smoke a lot of marijuana when I was younger.
Okay. And what's your psychedelic of choice?
The best thing I tried is LSD.
Okay.
So why'd you quit?
Why do you
smoking weed?
ask?
Certain types, like certain trips.
Do you mean like good trips or bad trips?
LSD is cool. I have no idea. I was just asking.
Well, psychedelics, it works like this. If you're in a good mood, you will see good things. Most likely, if you're feeling anxious and bad, you will get bad trips, and then it can be pretty scary, at least from my experience.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to advise me, I was going to say to you, listen, I decided on a whim here. I don't know what got in my butt here, but I decided to go join the army right now. And I just want to join the army, and I'm going to go tomorrow to join the army. And it's your job, El Lobo Feroz, to talk me out of joining the army. What are you going to tell me?
To talk you out of joining the army, well, I think the army is like an institution by the elite and the government. It's pointless to join the army because you're just like a lapdog to fix the shit that the elite doesn't want to do. If you understand where I'm going with that.
But doesn't that make me elite? Does that make me elite?
No. You're just like a dog, you know? You're like, how to say in English, like cannon fodder, you know?
Oh, a regular dog or an elite dog, though?
Well, it depends what rank you get. Do you want to become a captain or a general? It's all up to you, man.
Okay, well, what would you advise instead of joining the army then? Would you advise that I join the Navy?
It's the same category, just like on the water. How to say? My English isn't that great.
Boats. They're called boats.
No, Navy. It's like all Marine Navy, water. You have the air.
Yep. Okay, well then what should I do instead of joining the military? You tell me. What should I do? It seems like a good idea.
It depends what you want to do with your life, man.
Okay, well you're my guidance counselor here at school. I want you to give me some guidance counselor. Come on. I suggested army. You say no army because the dominant elites are going to be treat me like cannon fodder. Fine. So give me some other. What might I be interested in besides that?
Well, then I need to interview you, man. What are your strengths? What do you aspire in life?
Okay, well, people like me. I'm really good with people. I think I
Okay.
listen well. I'm a good listener. I type 85 words a minute, which is not that fast, but I use one of these old kind of typewriters. Is that okay still?
Well, it's all good, man. It's all good. I advise you to go into counseling.
Yeah, that's like the exact opposite of it's all good.
So, okay, if I'm going to go into counseling, which kind of person should I counsel? Should I counsel depressed people or people who have fears of spiders or what? I need to know who am I counseling?
What is your experience with those kind of things? If you say like arachnophobia, do you have any experience treating people with arachnophobia?
I'm kind of scared of spiders. That counts as experience.
That means you're a pussy, man. What man is afraid of fucking spider? Come on.
Hey, spiders are gross. You don't want to get one on you. They also bite. And also, sometimes you get a big spider, like you're walking along with a big spider and a big spider away. You're about to run into it. Ah! Of course, you're going to run away and scream like a little girl, right?
No, it depends what kind of spiders you're dealing with. Not all spiders can bite through your skin.
That's not the point. Even if it can't bite through your skin, you don't want a big spider on your face, do you?
I can get your point there. Yeah, it's not a cuddly creature.
Right, not cuddly, exactly. Okay, so let's see. If I were to ask you the rooster question, um, did you hear it when we asked the previous person? What? How would you answer the rooster question? Is it a chicken or a rooster?
I didn't quite get that one. I was not at my computer, I think.
Uh, all right, let me re-ask it real quick. Okay.
Okay.
There's a chicken who has an injury to an ovary in a flock of hens in England, and this chicken becomes a rooster by changing the kind of feathers she grows, starting to say cock-a-doodle-doo in the morning. When the hawk comes to threaten the chickens, the new rooster will stand up on her legs and flap her wings and say "ar ar," try to scare away the hawk, and tell the other chickens to go hide, and the other chickens listen to it like if it was though it were a rooster. Does all the things a rooster does. Is it a chicken or a rooster?
That's a quite long story, man. I'm quite drunk right now, so uh, I think it's a rooster.
Why?
Why? Because of the logical thought process I used to decipher your story. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, there's no right answer to the question. It's a chicken
Yeah.
who has an ovary damaged, and this is actually a true story. And then the chicken, it's in a flock in England. It started taking on all the attributes of a rooster, namely
Okay.
rooster feathers, cock-a-doodle-dooing in the morning, and protecting the hens, and all that sort of stuff. Right? It started acting like a rooster, and the other chickens in the flock treated it like a rooster. Listened to it like as though it were a rooster. So I'm asking you: is it really a chicken or is it really a rooster?
Yeah, then it's both. It just have some sort of identity crisis, you know?
So that answer is consistent with INTP rather than ENTP.
Okay.
Do you think you're? I mean, you think you're an INTP. I think you're an INTP already too. Um, the thing is, that's a question I use to try to distinguish ENTP and INTP because ENTPs will usually give a distinct answer and then argue that side, whereas INTPs will go, it's both or it's neither or it depends on your frame.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Yeah.
Ingen Jansen says it's probably not good to type someone drunk, too much waffling and inaccuracies. No, says Usanis.
I'm from Belgium. Our Belgian waffles are like great, you know? Everybody knows them, so.
He's got a point there. I
Don't
enjoy your
me for
waffling.
waffling, man.
You know, I wouldn't have pegged you from Belgium. I was trying to figure out where you were from, and I thought perhaps Spain. You sounded a little bit Spaniardy.
Because of
thinking
logo of Ferus. Yeah, I can get that one. Yeah.
I was thinking Netherlands, I guess.
Well, the Netherlands, it's right above Belgium, so.
Right.
I'm from the Flemish part. I speak, well, Dutch, Flemish. It's kind of the same.
Rachel, you were going to say something? No? Okay. I couldn't tell if you were trying to indicate that you were trying to say something or not.
No, not this time.
Okay. I'm about ready to wrap this thing up. I think we've been doing at it for quite a long time. We've been at it for, let's see, where's the time on this? I don't see any time on it actually. I don't know where I see how long we've been doing it for.
Well, the stream's been going for like 2 hours.
Oh, there it is.
Almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, almost 3 hours actually. It's 2 hours 49 minutes and 27 seconds. Okay.
Shit.
So yeah, let's wrap it up. I need to go eat something. They need to eat something, and I'm tired. So thanks for being here, everybody. Thank you, El Lobo Feroz. I think you're INTP. You're drunk INTP, you know, but whatever, same thing.
I'm always good, man.
All right, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. All of you in the audience, thanks for being here, and maybe we'll do this again some other time. Goodbye.